Hi, everybody. Welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, May the 14th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. As always, is none other than Mr. Duck or something there.
Oh, no. This is chicken.
It's a chicken. It's a chicken.
Remember, it's National Dance Like a Chicken Day.
It's National Dance Like a Chicken Day. Happy National Dance Like a Chicken Day, everybody.
Yep.
All right. Also, welcome to the show with us, Mr. John Staradumsky, Bruguru himself. Welcome, John.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Good to be here.
Hey, John.
Glad to have you on the show straight up from
I'm
the
wearing
top of
this,
it.
being a Dance Like a Chicken Day, and because John's on the show, I'm wearing this shirt today.
Trade raid.
From Smug.
And why don't you tell everybody that might not know what Traderade is, what it is?
Smug Brewing in Pawtucket, also known as The Bucket, just north of Providence, Rhode Island.
It's not Pawtucket?
Pawtucket. It's the Paw Sox, but Pawtucket, even though it's a W. And they decided to make this beer in honor of Gronkowski coming out of retirement to go play with Brady in Tampa.
So he didn't make it for Brady leaving the Patriots and going to Tampa. He made it for Gronkowski coming out of retirement because Brady went to Tampa.
Exactly. So that's why this is the Tampa Bay Bucks logo.
Gotcha.
And they actually had in the tap room, because this actually came out during COVID.
Remember that.
They had it in the tap room. They had a large cutout of Gronkowski. So if you went to the front door, because they had a thing across the front door, if you'd ordered beer and went to go pick it up, there was Gronkowski in the back. So,
yeah, it was pretty good beer too. My brother sent me some during when they released it.
Yes.
I don't get their beer much, but that brewery is near and dear to my heart because I was born in Pawtucket Memorial Hospital. So
very close.
There you go.
Yeah. Near and dear to my heart because it was my home brewery for COVID because I lived 4 blocks away from it. And this was like a lemon lime.
It was a lemon lime sour.
Yeah. I can't remember, was it Goza or
it was a kettle sour. It was a
did they do a kettle on that one? So, but yeah, it was a yummy beer. It was quite a yummy beer.
Mm-hmm. It was. All right. To finish us off, it's Happy National Buttermilk Day.
No, buttermilk. Did I leave off the word biscuit?
You did. You said Buttermilk Day.
Okay, it's Buttermilk Biscuit Day. So
all right.
I got some biscuits.
All right. Well, I'm going to change that right now. It's Happy National. Hold on. I can spell biscuit.
Spell what?
I think I'm spelling it. What the hell? Yeah. It's BISCUT, right?
No, I said Buttermilk Biscuit.
Not in my text, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I read biscuit. I read Buttermilk Day.
You just want Hot Dog Johnny's, don't you?
I do.
That's the only reason you only read Buttermilk and skipped
You said Buttermilk Biscuit. You said Buttermilk Biscuit. You did not say Buttermilk.
I am so sorry.
Damn you.
Anyway. I'm trying to figure out how the hell did I leave off the word biscuit. That's
anyway,
the important part there.
Anyway, John is our guest tonight. John Staradumsky, Honest Craft Beer Reviews. Thank you, John, for coming on with us. We've been wanting to do this show for a bit. We've been talking about this for a while now with this particular show tonight.
We got a lot of beers we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of different shows we've been talking about. This one's been on the docket for a while, though. As you can tell, if you read if you read anything before you're listening to the show, whether you're listening live or if you're listening again on a replay on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening to the audio podcast, you know that we're going to be talking about online beer ordering.
And you know what's great about Buttermilk Biscuits, John?
They go great with online beer ordering?
Possibly. Very, very possibly. Because
you can eat them while you're on your phone and ordering beer.
No, I can eat them while I'm on the show and you don't hear a bag rustling and they don't crunch.
Yes. There you go. That is true. That is true.
No.
You found your show food. There you go. Here you go. Awesome. All right. Well, on that note, I think all of us are drinking beer that we've purchased online for the show.
I derailed John because I know where he was going with that. There was no way we were going to do the show with Mr. Halftime himself.
Oh, yeah.
John Staradumsky.
Absolutely no way.
Yes, there was no way we're doing it without John.
As you can tell from his people, if you're listening to the audio replay of this, tune in right around 5 minutes and 30 seconds. or at any time during the show. It's not like he's moving it.
Just over his shoulder.
Just turn it over his shoulder. He's got a halftime cooler that he has, and it's a great story too. He'll get into that in a second. Why he's got the cooler. But let's have a beer. I'm thirsty, gents. John, what are you drinking first?
I have, of course, it is a beer that I bought online. If I can get the cap off, it's a bomber of Alaskan smoke.
Oh.
Okay, you've already trumped us. There's just.
I mean, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
All right.
Drink lots, but drink safely. Bye, folks.
Will do. But I got to show you that it's going to be in an Alaskan smoke porter glass too.
Always has the appropriate glassware.
There is nobody better than you when it comes to appropriate glassware. It's not even just appropriate glassware; it's branded appropriate glassware.
Yes, and the thing is, this beer, the beer hunter Michael Jackson, this was his favorite beer. He said it many times, and I think he loved it so much because it was just so different than anything else that was out at the time. Yes, you had your Rauchs from Germany, you had your Glinskis from Poland, but the U.S. wasn't really doing any smoked beer whatsoever. That might have been one of the first smoked beers ever done in the United States, and it was done in Alaska.
Certainly done well in the United States.
Oh God, yes, definitely. And when that came out, and that's such a good beer. I've only ever had the honor of drinking it once, and I savored it.
I have had it a couple of times, but I haven't had it in quite some time. And I'm going to ask John right here. We are not getting any promos or any endorsements right now for any of the beverage companies that we order online beer from. But I have to ask John, which service did you order that from? Because I got to order me a bottle. So
this one actually came from Craft Shack.
Craft Shack, okay.
And this is a 2022. I haven't seen it on Craft Shack since. Okay. It is a beer. I first ordered with Doug Smith in the 90s. We ordered a case from Belmont Station.
Nice.
Doug Smith. I recognize that name.
Yeah. We went halves on it. It was $100 with shipping back in which,
wow.
In the 90s, that was today. You wouldn't bet an eye on it.
So 12, 22 ounces. 12, 22 ounces.
I think they were 16-ounce bottles, if I'm not mistaken. So
were they?
It was 24, 2 12-packs of, I think they were 16s. He'll keep me honest. But that was one of the very first online beer orders. It wasn't the first. I think there was one other that I'll talk about later that I think predated it, but that was the first time. I've ordered it from Craft Shack a couple times since, and of course when I was in Seattle a couple times, and I drank it there while I was out there. But for online, if I see this beer, I'm buying it. This is actually my last bottle. The fact that I'm just writing down Craft Shack right now. Just remember, if the fact that it was on Craft Shack once, I mean, it's no guarantee that it's going to be there again, but it's more likely it'll be on there again before it's on any. If it's going to be available for sale on any of the online. And when they do have it, it's in the fall. It's always been in the fall,
of course,
because I think that's when it's right. Or that's the only time I've ever seen it there. So
that's awesome. Well, cheers to you drinking that. I'm super jealous here.
Yeah,
drinking that.
I gotta say, jealous.
Totally jealous. Samurai, what's your first beer?
I'm starting off with something that Johnny drank 2 shows ago, I believe. 2
or 3 shows ago.
Yeah. And that is this is from Sapwood Cellars, Pilsner Kapiravat. I'm probably not saying that right because the Czech language, the stress is always not where you expect the damn thing. Give you an example. You know how to say cheers in Russian, right?
Nostrovia.
Mm-hmm. In Czech.
I didn't know you were waiting for an answer.
I was waiting for an answer. In Czech, Nostravi.
Nostravi, right.
Right. So even Polish has the same stress, puts the stress in the same syllable as the Russian, but in Czech it's Nostravi. So it's always in a different place. So it's really hard for me to get a grasp on Czech pronunciation. So I'm going to say Kapiravat. And what we learned when you drank it, that Kapiravat means clone. So it's a Pilsner clone.
It's a Pilsner clone, yeah.
Of what? We don't know.
We can only assume.
But it's Czech style, so we're assuming it's Urquell.
Right. Exactly. So there you go. Well, cheers on that. Myself, I am drinking from Corporate Ladder Brewing. Best Practices Munich Helles.
This is Munich Helles.
Right there.
Very nice.
All
A
right.
good Munich
And
Helles is a great first beer of the night. I got to say that's an excellent.
It's always a way to go.
Pilsner too. That also is a great choice. But
there you go. Well, cheers, gents.
Nostravi.
Dostravi. Dostravi. Chindan.
Come by.
Prost, Slancha.
Prost.
Any of the above.
Yeah. Sante.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Helles, Munich Helles, so I probably should have said Prost.
Yes.
First.
Or you
I
can
said
go.
Prost, but
We can go Zumval,
this is Trevor.
which Renee taught me. My Austrian friend when I met him in Munich. Every time we toast, he's Zumval. Okay.
There you go. I just for the record, as John had stated that he bought his Alaskan Smoked Porter on Craft Shack. I bought this corporate ladder on Tavour.
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 Actually, everything I drink tonight is going to be Tavour.
To be honest with you, everything I'm drinking tonight is Tavour as well. And that's not to say I don't have anything else in the house from anywhere else. The beers I'm drinking tonight are all from Tavour. So
yeah.
Ironically, I don't think they ship to Georgia.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, the few times I've looked into them, because I've never bought from them, they didn't. They did not ship to Georgia. So
Interesting.
which is interesting, yeah, because Craft Shack and Halftime do. So I would assume it's legal for them to do it. I just don't understand
And what's funny too, and Dave and I were just talking too, like a couple of beers that you've gotten from Halftime, like, oh, I got to order that from Halftime. Like, Dave could actually, if there's no traffic, Dave could drive to Halftime in 30 minutes.
Yeah. However,
it's through Westchester.
There's always
and
traffic.
across Bronx, so it probably an hour and a half.
And the GWB.
Right.
So first of all, it takes half an hour to get out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem. And then 495 to 3, and then up to the Turnpike.
Well, it's in Mamaroneck, right?
It's a Mamaroneck.
Mamaroneck, yeah.
Yeah, the one I think they ship from. Yeah, actually, I think they ship from Missouri. To be honest with you, but they have a.
Is that right?
That's interesting.
They have a fulfillment agent. It's really weird because sometimes I see the packages coming from there, but or I don't know if they arrange it that way for legal purposes. But even for you, it might. I mean, it's $19.98 to fill a case of 24.
Yeah, and actually, it's the same price if you don't fill the case of 20.
Yeah, that's right.
24.
That's
so
true.
you might as well fill the whole thing.
Yeah,
But-
it's like say what Tavor's $14, and it's up to 24.
Is it really worth fighting all that traffic for $20? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that depends if you're doing some other things because there's a couple breweries not too far from it.
You can make a day out of it if it's just for that. If it's just for driving it, they have driving there. Yeah, honestly, between the tolls, and gas and everything else.
Oh, you're going to spend 20.
You're going to spend that easily.
Yeah.
You know. So ordering is the way to go there. But
But there's a couple breweries out there. There's one brewery in the building of Halftime apparently.
Wow.
But also I like the geocache, so that gets me into a new area to do some geocaching. So just another place to go hunt for Tupperware in the woods.
There you go.
Using multi-million-dollar satellites.
You and your geocaching, you gotta love it.
Oh, I love it.
So anyway, all right. Well, let's get into some discussion here. All right. You know what? Let's start. John, we'll start with you. How long have you been? I was going to ask the first question. How long have you been ordering on beer online? And you said there was one other place that you ordered before when you ordered with Doug. So why don't you tell that story, and that'll kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, it was early 90s. I want to say probably 92-ish. It probably wasn't online because I didn't get my first computer till 94. So I don't know how I did it.
You mean you didn't have an app on your cell phone back in 92?
Yeah, no, well, I had the phone, but they hadn't come out with the app yet.
You had a phone, but it had a cord on it.
I don't know where the button to push this app on his rotary dial phone is.
The phone was the size of a 2x4, but yeah. But it was a case of Rhino Chasers Amber Ale. And they were William and Scott was the name of the company. They were out of California in the early 90s. And this one, I thought it was a great beer. It was super fruity. It was a really delicious amber ale. Came from, it was kind of like a Humboldt red nectar type of fruity, juicy ale at the time. But the company was remarkable too. I remember I paid $35 including shipping.
Nice.
And they shipped it to Rhode Island for that. But they donated a portion of their proceeds to the World Wildlife Foundation.
Oh, love that.
Nice.
And it was rhino chasers because they were trying to save rhinoceroses. So they were trying to save the rhinos. They actually, over the course of the 90s, they had several other beers that were really good, and they eventually became available in my area. I could get them in Mass and Rhode Island. But it was really fun just getting, a case of beer showing up at your door via, I don't remember if it was FedEx or I think it was UPS that showed up to deliver. But of course, in those days, the selection, it wasn't like today, right? Today we can go online and buy all these beers, but today I can remember in those days going in a liquor store and, all right, there's not one single new beer, which is fine. I like to go back to beers that I've had before, but to expand your available choices so much to get something from the West Coast like that, it was unheard of, and it was fantastic, and it was really, really a lot of fun. So I will always remember getting that case of beer and drinking those beers because they were really, really good.
Yeah, before that, you had to actually be active in beer trading.
Yes,
right.
People did,
which was done. Yeah, sure.
But it's difficult to even today. Was difficult then, and difficult today. I had one guy that from Oregon that would send you the beer, and he would fill the box with foam that hardened all around the beer bottles. So you actually had to chisel them out.
That's spray foam. He's filled the box with spray foam.
Yeah.
Nothing ever broke, and the concern is not so much a lost soldier as it is getting caught, right?
Yes.
But I actually got caught. I've been caught a couple times, but I got caught by UPS in the 90s. I was using
same.
Yeah, boxed by Beer Across America, and I went to ship beer somewhere. I forget to who, and they called me and told me to come down, and there's my box of beer with the money I had paid for shipping, the cash sitting on top of it. The box was open. They knew what was in it. And they said, we don't ship alcohol. I said, you don't ship alcohol? And they're like, we absolutely do not ship alcohol. I said, well, your driver pulls up once a month to my house with a shipment from Beer Across America.
Probably not the smartest thing.
Right? Yeah. But anyway.
It's funny. I got caught. I got erroneously caught once because I had actually shipped something. It was actually shirts I was shipping. I was shipping some shirts, but I put it in a Sierra Nevada beer camp box, and they refused to ship it. They're like, we can't ship that. It's alcohol. I said, it's not alcohol. It's shirts. They're like, no, we can't ship that box. It's just a box. I opened it up. I showed it with shirts. They still refused. Yeah. It was the post office, actually.
Oh, the post office.
Right.
Yeah. They're the toughest. So
They are. We got a comment here from Brian Boak. He said he was a member of the Beer of the Month Club back in the 90s, he thinks. I think it was.
Beer Across America, most likely. Right?
Yeah. Most likely it was Beer Across America. I did Beer Across America, too.
But beer trading was a thing before beer. That was your beer by mail. That was your beer mail was from that. It got out of hand.
Hold on. It might have happened. If any officials are watching this show.
Oh, the statute of limitations are so gone by now.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh, this was in the 90s. This is so long ago. We don't do this anymore.
Actually, this was 2000s. I think was the last time I did it because the beer trading got so out of hand because it was just nothing but whales.
Yeah.
The ISO FT, contingency.
In search of for trade. In case any of you out there aren't aware of acronyms.
So I loved it when they got to what they referred to as a BIF, the Beer at Ford beer trading mentality, which you get a bunch of people together and the first person ships, and there was rules. Either a certain amount of ounces or a certain amount of dollar had to go in. There usually was some swag put in, either be it a glass, a hat, a shirt, or something. So that had to go in it. So when you joined, you had to give your size or whatever. And so the first person that would ship the box and that next person then knew they were up next. And the person organizing it made it so that you didn't have someone shipping to somebody who was from the same region. That way and the rule behind it was ship from your state, or at least in the immediate area.
Right. Don't go buy a couple of Oregon beers and then ship it to somebody in Oregon.
Right. So it was, but the cool thing about BIFs is that you want to be the last guy to get the box or gal, because usually the first box, the person would throw in an extra. They break the rules, they throw in an extra. Mm-hmm. And then it became one-upmanship.
Right.
And I remember one beer at Ford, I'm running around looking for an extra to throw in. And I was the first one to ship. I'm like, well, I'm the first one to ship. If everyone tries to outdo me, I put a Cantillon in the as an extra in the first one. It was like
you put a Cantillon in as an extra.
As an extra, and it was like, God damn it, Samurai, you have made the bar impossible right now. That was a fun one, but I really enjoyed that. But then,
and then it got back to you. Your extra was two extra cans of PBR. Right?
Bud Light, but
12 cans of PBR. Yeah.
No, but that was fun. But then, like what we're talking about, then the beer by mail came around, and now the only trading is pretty much whale trading.
Yeah. Well, it's whales that nobody can get where they are. Where we are, if you're trading with somebody out in, the Midwest or down south or whatever, obviously you're sending them, probably it's a cane bottle, right? Or
end at night and Old Dawns typically is
right.
The one everyone looks for.
Sure.
So I've got some stacking cask back there. That's not for trade, and I'm not in search of anything. So don't write me.
I have way too many cane bottles downstairs.
Do you have dripping maple?
I do not have dripping maple. I had a bottle of dripping maple. I drank it, and I had dripping maple at the brewery. I do not have a bottle of dripping maple right now.
It's that one gold at the CBC.
It did. Yes,
so,
it did.
That's why
World Beer Cup. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I had it. I was up there the weekend it came out, and they had it on tap. I grabbed one there. It was fantastic on tap, and it was better. You know what? I actually liked it a little better in the bottle.
Yeah, sometimes these things need a little age, and coming out of the keg maybe doesn't have quite the character.
Yeah, it was about a month and a half after I had when it's fresh on tap. Fresh, not fresh, but fresh in the keg and on tap, right? But 8 months old or however old it was. But then it was like another month and a half when I had the bottle, and I don't know how long ago before that was bottled. I don't know if they conditioned it in the bottle. I really don't recall. Probably didn't for that beer, but it was fantastic.
But John, what's the next beer service that you remember after that? After your first?
Well, after using Belmont and then ordering directly from the brewery for Rhino Chasers, for sure in the 90s it was Beer Across America. I was a member of both the normal 12-ounce bottle club and
I gotta grab something.
They have a big 22 that came out where you got 6 bombers basically.
Really?
Yeah, and they were bigger beers. One of the criticisms was that the beers that they were sending in the 12 packs were tended to the mundane side. I didn't necessarily agree with that. I got a lot of good stuff in the early days. I think looking back, there were a lot of beers that I couldn't get locally. Sometimes you did get beers, that was a little disappointing. You'd get beers that were sitting on the shelf at your local packing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
That would happen, but that was part of the game. But that was not so much the case with the big 22s. You got bolder stuff. I remember getting T.W. Fisher and Lost Coast, and there was actually a beer that I really enjoyed.
T.W. Fisher. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. T.W. Fisher. I haven't heard from him in a while either. But Gravity Man. Yeah, it was their Full of Trouble Vanilla Stout, and they're from Philadelphia. Wow. And we got them from Big 22, and that was like one of my favorite beers of all time. So it was pretty cool. And I think it was Doug and I had the we actually did halves and halves we had a membership in the regular club and the Big 22, and then we just split each. So
that's cool. Yeah, that works.
So we got the best of both worlds. So.
I do have to apologize to the beginning of your chat about Beer Across America and that for Shemp taking the place of Samurai there for a moment. with the chair creaking and the
Oh,
dropping and everything else.
I had to go grab something, and that ding was actually me kicking the garbage can.
And I thought it was round 2 or the end of round 1. I wasn't sure. But and then Brian Boger says Samurai needs some WD-40 for his chair.
I have sprayed lubricant in like every crack and crevice of this chair, and I just can't get the squeak.
But you should try WD-40, not the lubricant that you did use.
Well, I apply it tenderly and I warm it up first.
There you go. All right. It wasn't a warming.
What I was actually going to get. My first beer by mail was actually a Beer of the Month Club, but it wasn't Beer Across America. It was another service. Well after Beer of the Month Club. This was in the 2000s, and I got some pretty decent beer from it. And it is bearing grease that I've been using, as a matter of fact. But the best thing I got actually wasn't one of the beers. It's this bottle opener.
Oh, wow. That's
nice. It came as part of the beer club. And this is the only bottle opener that I've ever had that takes the cap off without any indentation in the top or flaring of the cap.
Yeah.
It's my favorite bottle opener.
These with the nail on them are also great for that.
Yeah, they are.
They pry it off without damaging the cap. So
I had one. It was it flared the cap ever so slightly, but it basically put it over the bottle and get pushed down and pulled up, and then you took it off and it just pulled. It just super slightly evenly opened the cap. You couldn't tell it was flared at all. That's how little it opened it around it, but it opened it all around like almost evenly. Yeah. So it came right off and you could just look at it. It was a regular cap, no indentation, no nothing, no scratches, no nothing. And that was that. I'll leave it alone. That one melted. We'll leave that alone.
Was that club the microbrewed beer club? That was another one I had a membership to.
I was going to say microbrewed beer club.
I think it was
one of them back then. Yeah.
And that bottle opener came with the club.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I had a membership there. I know I did, but I think it was the end of the 90s. In '99, that's when Beer Across America terminated the Big 22 Club. So I may crying in my beer over that one. But
I can imagine. Yeah, really.
It may have been the end of the 90s because I don't think my son was born yet. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would have been that makes sense. If I look at it based on my son, he was born in 2000. He's the baby. Mm-hmm. But so that's that. Yeah. I was gonna say that one. That was probably 98, 99. That one came and that one started coming around. It bigger in 2000, 2001, that kind of thing. But yeah, right. Late 90s, early 2000s was the time for that. Samurai, what were some of the things you picked up back then that you remember?
Most of the
things that stand out.
I got some North Coast out of that. I believe North Coast came in one of them.
Before we could get North Coast here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because that came like North Coast. Where is that?
Hold that thought. There was, I was just pulling things up on Tavour the other day, maybe a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago. And I didn't even read the name of the beer. And I'm reading the description. I'm like, whoa, this sounds friggin' fantastic. I got to order one of these. It's a stout, right? I got to get one of these. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it was North Coast. It was
Old Rasputin.
Old Rasputin. Yeah.
Old Rasputin. Yeah.
Old Rasputin. Yeah.
Actually, that's not what I got from them. I got what's the one that's got the seal on it? Is that their brown ale?
Red seal ale?
Was that Heidi Klum?
No, not that seal.
With the seal is the red seal ale, right?
Yes, that's it. The red seal ale.
Red seal ale, yeah.
That's what I got from that. And I also got from, was it Downtown Brewing? That's where the brown came from a brewery called Downtown. I remember that. Mm-hmm. So there's a few I got from there. I think the thing of anything other than in the recent days that I really stands out, and Mr. Staradumsky brought it to the forefront of my mind, was I did in trade got a a smoked porter,
Mm-hmm.
and
Alaskan smoked porter or
Alaskan smoked porter,
okay.
as well as some Midnight Sun. I had never
Nice.
heard of them because they were relatively new. Because I started trading with actually one of the ferry captains in Alaska. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
I'd send her beer from Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, and I'd get stuff from Alaska.
Not a bad trade.
Not a bad trade.
Got to tell you.
So
awesome. I'm ready for beer number 2, by the way. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I can probably chug this down.
You don't have to chug it. That's fine.
Yeah, I've only got this much left.
Oh, I thought it was like more than that. John, you're still enjoying. I would be still enjoying your smoked porter there. So
I will go pop another one shortly just to make you guys happy, though.
No. Take your time. Take your time. Enjoy that. I know I would be. So. Samurai, what are you drinking for your second one?
Oh, well, I'm in the middle of pouring it, so hold on.
Oh, hold on. I mean, you can put it up if you'd like me to.
Yes, it is a Heater Allen Pils.
Okay.
It's another Bohemian style Pilsner.
Let me see the can.
When I'm done pouring.
No, when you're done pouring. Not right now.
It is right there.
Here, I'll show you mine too. There you go.
Oh, look at that. They're almost the same color.
I think they're very similar cans, I got to tell you.
Very similar cans.
There you go. So I'll just leave that one crawl up there for both of us.
Yes. So our second beer is the same beer.
Peter Allen makes excellent German-style beer.
I love Heater Allen's German-style beer.
Yeah. This is the first Heater Allen I've ever had. Excuse me, man. Yeah, chugging a Czech Pils is going to make you belch a little.
If I remember correctly, from something I was reading somewhere, was it Laura Allen? Was the Allen Heater Allen? And she left and she got together with somebody else from another brewery, and they opened Gold Dot Brewing.
Oh, okay.
I gotta find it.
Gold Dot. I think there's a Gold Dot available on Tavour right now.
I already ordered a couple of them.
So you can see what it says under my name there. What's in your crate? Well, we've got a little bit of a insight into what's in Johnny's crate.
I'll read your mind. Yeah.
I've got a couple pre-orders.
Yeah, I got a crate going. I think I got 10 or 12 in my crate right now.
I don't have that many.
And
the thing is, I didn't have anything in my crate until today when I had to go research for the top 3. So
there we go. Just want to hold on, read more. I think it's in Lager Legends. This is where I read it too. Lager Legends, each in their own right. It's Lisa Allen from Heater Allen and Kevin Davey from Wayfinder.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean they left. They could just be opening and have another project. But Gold Dot is Lisa Allen and Kevin Davey. Lisa Allen from Heater Allen and Kevin Davey from Wayfinder, which Wayfinder makes incredible beer too, in their own right.
It's funny you should bring that up.
Yeah, because your next beer is Wayfinder.
My third beer is a Wayfinder.
Right. Yeah. So I have right now in my crate I have 10 beers, and we'll talk about Tavour.
We'll get to those. Yeah, when we start talking about Tavour.
I'll say them there. You gotta. Yeah, it's interesting. So, what did you say? I was gonna say Prost, but that was my last beer. This is a Czech style. So,
Nostravi.
Nostravi. There you go.
I'm just gonna go with cheers.
Nostravi. That's Alaska.
Cheers. That works. Yeah, Alaska. It's cheers. There you go. Wow, that's very tasty. So. Yeah, so they so those were awesome services back in the day. It definitely, I mean, there's, as you said before, John, to your point, there's so much more beer available. I mean that goes without saying, right? You don't even have to say that. Everybody knows there's so much more beer available to them. That's a no-brainer. But as far as specifically as far as online beer ordering goes, it's like every day things are getting added, and these online beer services are putting up, Tavour we'll talk about, because I do like a few things that Tavour is doing. We'll talk about that when we get to Tavour, but there's so much more available. But based on, if you think about what was available to the general public back then in general, just in liquor stores and available to wherever you went. Breweries that were open, the amount of breweries, the amount of beer available. Getting some of the beers in those from those online beer services were fantastic. It was just it was so it opened the world, like you said. It opened it up to so many more styles
that would have been even more important for me. I had a donut hole because in 2001 I moved down here to Georgia, and when I was getting those beers, Beer Across America clubs shipped to my house and buying beers online in Rhode Island, I had pretty good selection. Rhode Island, we had a number of good stores, Haxton's and Town Wine and Spirits and
Nicky's.
Thorpe's in East Greenwich.
Was Nicky's open when you were there?
I don't remember Nicky's.
If you were going south into Providence on the main drag out of Pawtucket, just past the big cemetery, Nicky's was right across the street on the right.
It probably was, but if I was in that area, my grandparents lived in Pawtucket too until I left. But if I was there, I would go 10 minutes north of them in Rumford was Town Wine and Spirits, and they had an excellent selection there. And then if I went into Mass, into Attleboro, just over the line, there was Yankee. And Yankee had a huge selection.
Yeah.
So I had all these beers, and yet, I had a good selection, and this supplemented that. But then I moved to Georgia, and forget about it. It was like there was nothing out there. It was like you couldn't buy. First of all, the legal cap was 6%, so it was illegal to sell a beer that was stronger than 6%. But beer clubs were also illegal, so I had to, that I went to change my address, and we don't ship to Georgia. So when I needed them most, I couldn't get them anymore. And that was I didn't buy any online beer, I think, again till like 2015, and that was when Beer Jobber, which was out of Maryland, I think, somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic, they had Narragansett, and they would ship to Georgia. So I would buy cases of Narragansett shipped to my house at that time.
Hello, neighbor.
Just the hi neighbor. Yeah, there's just the lager, just the.
No, I got other stuff from them too. I got the Dell's Shandy.
Yeah. If you're if you're born in Rhode Island, you're not drinking Dell's Shandy. You got to hand your card in.
You got to have coffee milk stout,
the autocrat or whatever.
The autocrat,
yeah.
And they make a lot of other good stuff too. I mean,
there's the lobster ale.
Yeah, the Fresh Catch. Yep.
Fresh Catch.
But they had the H.P. Lovecraft series, and most of those beers actually were very good in their own right.
I never got my hands on them, and I'm a massive Lovecraft fan.
Me too. That's why at first, two attractions. One, it's Lovecraft. So
during COVID, I spent a lot of time in Angel Point Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Right. And it's funny because I'd see people looking around, they're lost, and I'd ride my bike up to them with my mask on. They thought they were being hijacked because I had like the red bandana. I look like a train robber, but I go, "You looking for Lovecraft's grave?" They're like, "Yeah." Like, follow me. It's the most unassuming little thing too.
Nice walk around Providence, hit breweries, go walk by where his house used to be. And it was he was very interesting.
The shame is I never made it to the Athenaeum because it was closed the whole time, and him and Edgar Allan Poe both spent a lot of time in the Athenaeum.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Well, I like Poe too, but
yeah. We actually went. We were in Richmond last year, and Jess and I were there in February. Matt and Jim and I were there again in May, but Matt and Jim and I were only there for Jess and I were only there for a day too. But Jess and I went to the both times I went, we parked in the same place. Two different people, right? Was with. I parked there, and Jess and I went in the Poe House in Richmond, and we took the tour and did the whole thing, and it was really cool, right?
You're in the poorhouse. You should have said something.
Poe House.
Oh, Poe
House.
Okay, sorry.
Now, keep that in mind though, because when we went back, when Matt and Jim and I went on our way to CBC in Nashville last May, we stopped in Richmond on the way down. We drove, and we parked literally almost like in the same spot that I parked in with Jess, but we didn't go to the Poe House. We went around the corner to Richburg Brewing, and the amount of beer that I bought at Richburg Brewing,
you put in the Poe House.
Put me in the Poe House.
My oldest son is a big Lovecraft fan too, but my youngest son, He gets the nod for the biggest family moment, which is tied with Poe, because we're standing in next to my bookcase, and he's looking through my books, and he was a teenager at the time, and he pulls one out and holds it up and reads the title off and said, he's like, "Dad, who wrote the Tales of Edgar Allan Poe?" And I'm like, seriously?
That was me. I did it.
Yeah, I did it.
I remember when I was biking around, hitting all the Lovecraft locations in Providence. I got to the house. I can't remember the name of the house, but it was the one that Charles Dexter Ward was based off of. That's the house that he modeled it off of. And so I took a picture of it and sent it to my friend Leon, who's now gone, because he was as big of a Lovecraft fan as I am. And I said, "This is the house that that Lovecraft based the case of Charles Dexter Ward on." Yeah. He's like, "Oh, that's very cool." And then I panned back and took the picture again because it was for sale. And he went, "Oh, hell no." He goes, No. He goes, "You know I'm a brother, and you know what happens to brothers in horror movies. We're the first to go. Not happening.
Not happening."
So I took pictures of everything there. I'd send it to him. Even there's Lovecraft Corner, and you wouldn't know you're at Lovecraft Corner until you got to look up about 12 feet, and there's a little sign. I mean, the sign's about this big. That's about it. That says Lovecraft Corner. So. Mm-hmm. That was fun doing that.
Yeah, he was interesting character. People don't realize it, but he was a big streaming video fan. Spent a lot of his time watching Cthulhu.
Oh Jesus! I'm like, where is he going with this?
Mm-hmm. Actually,
I'm like streaming. They didn't have to.
One of the Lovecraft was a loner. He was very good friends with Robert Howard, who wrote the Conan books. If you read his works, you will find none of his main characters are female. He has no female main characters in any of his novels.
Nope, they're all male.
Yeah, but they're so good. They're like, Stephen King. He was the inspiration. Stephen King says he was my inspiration. So.
Clive Barker as well. Clive Barker even more so. And the thing is with Howard. Howard wrote he wrote a story in which he kills Lovecraft in the story, and Lovecraft returned the favor by killing him in the next story he wrote.
There you go.
So they were.
They traded kills back and forth.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just not to come off of Lovecraft and talk about Poe for a second, but back in December. Was it December? I think it was December. It might have been. No, you know what? It was right before. My bad. It's right before Halloween. In Allaire, Dave, Allaire State Park.
Oh yeah.
The church in Allaire State Park.
Mm-hmm.
Church.
It's a little creepy.
Little right. They had a Poe reading
in that church.
In the church by Edgar Allan Poe, and of course it wasn't. Yeah, it was an actor. It was an actor. It was a woman, but I'd seen a couple of other Poes before. And they were men. She was better than the guys as Poe. She was spot on, talking in the first person, like everything wasn't referring to Edgar Allan Poe. She was Edgar Allan Poe. So I was born in 1840, whatever it was, that kind of thing. So it was just fantastic. And then we learned it. And I said to Jess. We're sitting there myself. We're coming back to see this. We're doing this again. Well, because this was fantastic.
Let me know.
Together the people, right? But then I found out that she may not be doing that anymore. She might be retiring, and she had done it for a while. It was the first time we saw her. But I'm like, I'm like, let us know, because I definitely have to go back, and I know you would love to go see it. So.
I would love to see that. If you need to find CDs, they don't exist anymore. An album called "Closed on Account of Rabies." And it's a bunch of celebrities reading Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
I don't know which one my favorite was. You had, was it? I think The Raven is read by Christopher Walken.
I got to hear that.
Yeah.
I got to hear that.
I'm pretty certain it was Christopher Walken.
You can stop there. I just want to hear that.
Oh, no. No, because what's even better.
William Shatner does one?
Telltale Heart, as read by Iggy Pop.
Jeez.
It is fantastic. fucking tastic.
Mhm.
And that was my favorite, as much as the Raven. I think it was Christopher Walken. I got to look that up.
I hope it was Christopher Walken. Now,
Yeah,
you got me. If it's not, I got to get in touch with Christopher Walken people
Yeah,
and
he's
make
gonna
them
do
do it because I got to hear it. So
I got the album up. And
Jimmy, get on that.
Jimmy, did we hire someone new?
No, that's the thing we do on the sports podcast. It's Jimmy. Jimmy's the guy.
Okay.
Jimmy,
no, yeah, it was Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, done. Good,
okay.
beautiful.
You also have Marianne Faithfull reading Alone.
Wow. It's the only Christopher Walken impression I could do. The word "wow." That's it. For some reason, I just can't get his voice, but I can say "wow." That's it.
I can do Bradley Cooper doing Christopher Walken.
How's that?
It's like pineapple. I like to eat it. That's the only. That's it right there. Yeah. Berenice is read by Dr. John.
Really?
The City in the Sea, which is my favorite poem, performed by Deborah Harry and the Jazz Passengers.
Oh, that must be good.
Wow.
Then Marianne Faithfull comes back and reads Annabelle Lee. Oh, and I forgot about this one. Mask of the Red Death, read by Gabriel Byrne.
And this is called what now?
Closed on account of rabies.
Closed on account of rabies.
Yeah, you've got to find it. But Christopher Walken reading The Raven, and but I swear it's trumped by Iggy Pop reading Telltale Heart. I'll
listen to all. I'll have to get it. I'll have to listen to all of them. I'll see if it's on. Hopefully, it's on Apple Music, so I can just put it on my phone and listen to it. But imagine if somebody said that even 20 years ago. Hopefully, it's on Apple Music, so I could just put it on my phone and listen to it.
And there have
another biscuit there.
Still eating biscuit, yeah.
Still eating biscuit.
I just got a text from my son because Lego just announced the release
of Iggy Pop reciting.
No, there's a new set. It's Barad-dûr. Sauron's tower in Lord of the Rings, and it is it's only I think it's only $480.
Is that all?
Sounds about right.
Get a couple of them.
I think it comes with an orc.
There you go. Okay. So I got a question for you. Am I drinking that much faster than you tonight?
I told you before, my speed. Actually, you're drinking faster than you usually do tonight. You said at the top of the show you're very thirsty.
I'm very thirsty. Yeah. So you know what?
But I'm also drinking slower than I usually drink.
So I'm going to move on to my third beer, and then by the time you get to your third beer, I'll probably have my fourth, and then we'll call it a day.
And that's normally switched during this show. I'm usually opening my third, and John's finishing his second. I'm halfway through my third by then.
Okay, I'm going to private message both of you in the private chat, and I want your opinions on which beer I should have first, and then I'll drink accordingly.
Put numbers to them so we don't give it away on the air.
Okay. Well, the first one's 1 and the second one's 2. How's that?
That works. I'd go 2 before I went 1.
That's where I was going, but I just wanted opinion.
Do you see it, John? Do you?
No, it's not coming through.
The private chat. It's on the.
If you look at the top right where it says comments, private chat's tab to the left of it.
There we go.
I'll do the second one first.
Chat. Oh, definitely a 1.
Definitely do 1 first before the second.
Number 1.
Yeah,
he's the German beer expert, so I'll defer to him.
Either way, I'm fine. So I will drink it.
You couldn't go wrong either way, but that's just
when we get to it all. So I'm just because John's now third beer. I would have done it as the fourth only because of the main ingredient in it. Can be a little aggressive, but
we'll find out.
Well, it's it's
I'm fine either way. Within a couple of sips of the other one, it's not going to matter really. So I'm good. I just need to take my obligatory picture, and there we go. And then talk amongst yourselves while I take a picture.
Okay, well, we're just enthralled by your process here.
My process here.
Yeah, it's the pour, place, clank, phone, picture, place, clank.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
in that order.
Because this was and I didn't put a crawl up for it, I'm not going to put the crawl up. I'll just say it's called Specks of Sand. All right, and it's from. Sorry about that. It's from.
I want someone to name a brewery.
You know, it's not a bad idea actually. It's actually I knew it was. I like an idiot. I forgot. Fontaflora.
Fontaflora. There's a couple of more Fontafloras up in Tavour right now.
Yes, it's an amber lager brewed with Heritage Seashore Black Rye. So I'm excited. I've been excited to try this. So Specks of Sand. There you go.
Yeah, and that's the reason that I suggested that one instead of the other one is because I think that it might have been the other way around if this was your first beer.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the spice that rye imparts to a beer, and
so do I. And once you have the dunkel, it's going to lose some of that. Yeah, that's why I was back and forth. I'm like,
but I was thinking you finished. That's why exactly what I was thinking. You finished with the Roggen, is because because the spice of the rye in a Roggen may make the dunkel taste like nothing.
It could. That's a risk, but I don't think rye is. Although it's spicy, it's not so heavy that it should prevent you from enjoying the dunkel.
It depends on how it depends on how it's brewed.
I'm going to say two things about this beer. One, it's not really within 2 or 3 sips of the other beer. It's not
really knock it out.
I should be able to knock it out. But I will tell you this: the other thing, and the main thing I'm going to say about this beer is that just with the first sip I took of this beer, I am totally pissed off at myself that I only ordered one of these.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's funny. Now we're back to our original topic.
Yeah, and I do that on. I do that on. I do that on Tavour. I said doo-doo. I do that on Tavour.
You took my line.
I've done that twice. I bought a Rauch beer from Schilling that was out of this world. It was so good.
Okay, never ever order just one from Schilling.
I know. I got one can, and then I went back and want more, and of course it was gone. And then I got a Doppel Sticker Alt from Enegren, which was freaking unreal.
Why would you not order more than one of those?
It's got a Valkyrie on the label, and you feel like the Valkyries are carrying you off to Valhalla while you're drinking the damn thing.
First of all, it's a and second of all, it's an Enegren. Why would you not?
I know.
Live and learn.
And of course,
well, that's what I do. Well, I'll tell you, I ordered from. You ever order anything from Phase 3? It's in Illinois. I ordered their rye lager once, and I got 1 can, and within the first 2-3 sips of this beer, it was marked down that anytime this beer comes out, I'm ordering at least 3 of them, if not 4. Yeah. And I've done that too. So this goes into that category. If this pops up again, I'm going to get 4 of them. You know, that kind of a thing.
Well, here's the one thing that I've learned from beer by mail, from ordering online, is that anytime that I only order one of something, it's fantastic. Anytime I order more than one of something,
it's not.
It's depressing.
Right.
There was one. I drank one on the show. I'm not gonna re-mention the beer. Sean may remember it. It was a Tavour buy, and it sounded really cool. It was a beer that was made from along the lines of a cocktail. Mm-hmm. So now John knows what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I took 1 sip of it, and John could tell by my face. Mm-hmm. He don't like this. It just didn't play well. There was just something. It just didn't work.
Now we did.
But I bought 2 of them.
Yeah. Now exactly.
Because I thought it was, I trusted the brewery, and
well-known brewery,
very well-known brewery, and it was
that a collab too?
I think that might have been the issue. It was a collab.
Mm-hmm.
But I've opened my 3rd beer.
Oh, you did?
Yep. And the aforementioned Wayfinder. Mm-hmm. This is 3 of Hearts. They're Cold Nacht Lager, which means cold night lager. if you couldn't figure that out on your own. Most people. That's a great thing about the German language is that a lot of the words are very similar because a lot of our words derive from the German, so it's pretty easy to figure out. It's just the grammar will kill you in German.
Is that vernacular German, or is that
No, it's not.
Kontnacht.
That's not actually. I think it might be. It's not German. It's but it's derived from German.
Austrian?
No. Austrians speak German.
Well, I mean, it could have been a derivative.
No, it might be Danish.
Yeah,
Could be Danish.
I don't know if it's a cheese Danish, a cherry Danish. Unapologetically rustic lager with subtle botanical tasting notes of juniper berries and fresh lime. They don't off the You know what? I know what I can do. If I put this into my translator and have it in language.
Him and his translator.
Juniper
Translator's back, people.
Scandinavian to me, though. If it's got
it
juniper.
Does.
Yeah.
So juniper berries obviously will make it that.
Maybe it's Finnish.
Is it Finnish?
I'm not finished with it yet. I just poured it.
I knew that was coming.
You knew it was coming. It's like you would have done the same thing. You are worse with puns than we are, so I don't want to hear it.
I actually respect you more than you will.
While you're looking, did I tell you? I told a joke the other day over a Zoom phone call.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't remotely funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Had to go there. Sorry.
That was good.
Let's see.
You figure it out yet?
No, I'm still working on it.
Still working on it.
There we go. Hold on. I couldn't find. Okay, here we go. Cold. Not. Norwegian.
There we go.
Norwegian.
There it is. So
you're right on Scandinavian.
Yep.
And he wasn't finished. So.
And definitely not finished.
Nope.
John's still not finished with that, and I'm still jealous.
It's so good.
He's still working through that smoke.
You know what? I got to tell you. I got to be honest with you, and this isn't even a joke. I find lately myself, I love smoked beers so much. I find myself literally to the point of savoring them.
Yeah.
Like could I drink it 3 times as fast? Absolutely. Do I want to? No, I want to enjoy the hell out of this damn beer.
It's one of my favorite styles, and I'll tell you, this one actually, I drank a bottle. I don't know, about six months ago, and I thought that was my last bottle. And I knew I had another bottle. I'm like, what happened?
Is that the one you found rolled under something?
Yeah,
that was the one.
My dog's ball rolled under the desk, and I was looking for it. And I'm like, what the hell? A bottle of Aladdin's.
My dog doesn't have any balls left, so.
Well, if you would get her some, she might find you a bottle of Aladdin's.
There you go.
But anyway, this one actually is, I think the smoke is more pronounced in this one than it was. I think this beer is not, they say you can age it, but I think it past a couple of years, it starts to deteriorate.
The smoke fades.
Yeah. So, but this is 2022. So fall of 2024.
Couple years old.
It should be fine.
Yeah, it's a year and a half. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Yep.
But I just did that, John. I don't know if you saw my categorizing on Facebook and that, but I just spent time up at Chilling a couple weeks ago when I was up there, and
we urge anybody who can to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: we went to Burlington, right, for 4 days, and the second day we were there, the first thing I wanted to do in the morning was drive an hour and 45 minutes over to Schilling in New Hampshire, and the plan was to stay there about an hour and a half or so. 3.5 hours later, we left. Wow.
Every box I get has Schilling in it, has Von Trapp in it, unless they don't have any. Depending on Jack's Abbey, we do get some Jack's Abbey beers here, but if it's something that I can't get here, then there are, and that's one of the attractions of, like I said, I had a donut hole till about 2015, but I didn't really do any more online beer ordering until COVID hit.
Right.
And that's when, and it started with Craft Shack. And that's when there was a difference too, because always before it had been a push, right? They're sending you the beers that with the beer clubs that they want to send you. Now you really have the option to buy the beers that you want, and an assortment of them. And Craft Shack was great. In my opinion, they're very different from Halftime is single source. Everything comes from Halftime. Craft Shack is a conglomerate of online retail, or actually package stores that the Craft Shack vendor coordinates with to send you stuff. The downside is that it is a real pain to not create an order that's going to come from 4 different places with $80 worth of shipping.
Right.
That's what it's changed to that, and I don't buy from them as much because of that. If they have something like this or something I really want, there's a beer I'm going to talk about later when we get to the top 3. But that was worth it. But with Halftime, I can just fill the box and with whatever I want. And the singles prices from Halftime are not that much more than what I pay for singles at Total Wine, 30 miles from or 30 minutes from my house. So it's very, very, and it gives me access to beers, which is where I was going with the breweries that I mentioned are frequently in my boxes. New England beers, New York beers, beers that I can't get here, but that I cut my teeth on. So Long Trail Ale, I can get Long Trail Ale from there. I buy a 6-pack of that, and they stick it in my box. So,
The thing is, I'm looking on Craft Shack now. They also have liquor and wine.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the liquor prices. And it's funny, I'm looking at 2 of the bottles. They're right next to each other on my screen. And both those bottles are sitting right over there. And I got to tell you, I paid half of what they're charging for them.
And their beer prices.
Really?
This is bourbon. So this was the Bibb and Tucker that I drank on the Anna Chaser show
last week. Yeah.
This is the 6-year-old.
Right.
$84.
Really?
That's
almost
double.
It's almost double.
It's almost double.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And that I love the Smoke Wagon out of Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would ever say I love it.
I had that. I had Smoke Wagon once. It was fantastic.
It is,
and it was poured for me out of a bottle that Mr. John Kampanik had.
There you go. Well, this is not as bad, but they've got it for over $61.
Well, I will say though, one of the things that shocked me about Craft Shack is I got an email from them out of the blue, totally not expecting it. Now I bought from them multiple times, that I had won a full cask of Pappy Van Winkle.
What?
Yep. It was April 1st that they sent it to me.
Oh, geez.
But this is a true story. They sent that to me. And I was like, seriously? Before I realized what day it was, I was forwarding it to a couple friends. I'm like, we're going to have a party. And yeah, then I realized, no, you didn't.
Very funny.
But they did do that. Yeah. And I wonder that some people didn't, because it looked legitimate. So if they're telling you want it, and then they're going to say, we're not going to give it to you.
You now owe me a cask.
Yeah, somebody taking them seriously in court. But
yeah, this is hey, they can prove that it was a written contract, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God, they got 10-year-old Rip Van Winkle for $1,400. A 12-year-old $1,700.
That's no.
And
wait. The 10-year-old is $1,700.
No, $1,200.
12-year-old. Still, you know how much you should be. Honestly, no lie. You know how much you should be paying for a bottle of old Van Winkle 10-year?
$35.
No more than $50.
No more than $50.
No more than $50.
I remember when I bought,
and you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it anywhere for like less than $400 or $500.
No,
but you should be paying $50, and they're charging $12. Forget about it.
It's the rarity of it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But there's people that are paying these prices because they've been around for 5 years now, at least, maybe longer than that. So,
longer than that, but Blanton's is my favorite, but I won't buy it anymore because it's $120 a bottle. Mm-hmm. That's a $40 bottle of bourbon.
Yep.
It's when I first bought it, I think I paid $42 for it, but because it's gotten popular, it's supply and demand.
Yes.
Yeah. I still buy from them occasionally if they have something I really want and I can, get it from one vendor, then I'll do it. But I've really shifted my business to Halftime because it's so much easier, and and it's I mean the prices they're fair. They're really fair. And they have a rewards now. Craft Shack has a rewards program that's probably a lot more feasible with beer than it is with those liquor prices.
Right.
And that takes some of the sting out because you can get money off. But Halftime does too. You earn rewards points and you can get $15, $20, $25 off. If you're getting $25 off, that's free shipping and a free beer in your box. So it's not too difficult to get to those levels either. So
not at all.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, I know that you rely on Halftime because you can get the beers from this area, and a lot of the beers in this area and you miss, so you seek it out. John and I go on Halftime. We look, and it's like 75% to 85%. We can go down our street and pick it up.
It's here. It's local.
But even so, like when you take even like Tavour or someplace like Beer Jobber or what we were just talking about, Craft Shack.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one that out of Colorado, John?
Beer Drop.
Beer Drop. Even these services, we've got some really good liquor stores and craft beer stores in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. There's this one in Boonton. And so when I go through Tavour, when I go through Beer Drop, when I go through these, like, I can get that in Boonton. I can get that.
Oh yeah. You know what you can get here, so we can get it here. I don't look at anything like I told you before with the Old Rasputin. I mean, like I'll tell you right now, I love Old Rasputin. My favorite North Coast beer is Old Stock Ale.
Oh God, yes.
And the fact that it's
big surprise. You like an old ale.
Shocker, right? But
it's a damn good beer, though.
It's an excellent beer. It's phenomenal, right? And I can go to one of 6 places within a 10-minute drive of my house and pick up a 4-pack whenever I want. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Brian Boak commented before we're talking about Old Van Winkle and Old Rip and Winkle and the other bourbons. He said, "I just drink Gentleman Jack." There you
go. Brian, stay tuned because when we get to the top 3s, I'm going to take your name in vain. just saying.
I'll say I only drink beer.
His name in vain.
Well, I prefer Train in Vain.
I did just pick up one of these. I can't say I picked up one of these. I actually was gifted this by the lovely Jessica for my birthday.
What is that? That's a beautiful thing. I had a bottle of it. I drank a bottle of it,
and I've already put a dent in it. So.
And I no longer have a bottle of it.
That's a fantastic. It's a fantastic rye.
Yeah, that's a beautiful rye.
It's finished in port wine casks and it's blended with a little bit of port wine too.
I've got to say one thing: port wine finishing on bourbon is one of my favorite things. Yeah. It really knocks the edge off of it. Now, granted, if you are a Booker's drinker and you're looking for that edge, don't look for port finished.
Don't look for port finished.
It's going to remove that edge. It's be like, like people who are used to smoking punches going down to a Macanudo. Right. It's just not a done thing.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to the End of Chaser podcast.
That's what we're talking about now. Yeah, right. But yeah, the port barrel finish on a bourbon it's just a lovely, lovely velvety thing.
It is. It's so good. I had 2 of them last night. 2 on I just
2 bottles. So that's your 3rd bottle left. That's the
no. Oh. 2 fingers and not
2 fingers
and not 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Right?
Oh, I have 2 fingers this way.
So John, I was saying I was at Schilling. We were there 3.5 hours. The plan was to stop at Von Trapp on the way back from Schilling before we went back into Burlington for dinner that night. It was my birthday that night anyway. And we wanted to stop at Bar Hill Gin on the way back in Montpelier. And we did, but it was too late to stop at Von Trapp. So we actually drove up there on Tuesday before we left. We went to Von Trapp, and I brought home a nice little thing. But I got to tell you, Von Trapp was so, I mean, beer aside, and we could talk about that all night. We did last week on the show. the place is gorgeous. It's
Yeah,
just
I've seen pictures.
beautiful.
Unbelievable.
It's just, and I have a picture. I'll put it up really quick right now. Just to show you. If I could get back to
we've
it.
we've got to fill time here, John, while he searches through his photos.
No, it's right here.
Oh, it's right there. That was quick. Quick.
We may be Von trapped in a lull.
Be Von trapped in a exactly. It is.
It's right there. It's just right there.
Right. No, I know where it is, but I'm like, there's so many pictures. Here it is.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
It's not on the screen yet.
No, it's not. There we go.
That's it.
And if you look at the top corner, you can actually see the ski slopes at Stowe in the background.
And there's an area in the back, right, where you can sit out in huge green area and
huge green area.
And you're looking out over all this wooded area, and
it made me so. I'm like, oh, this is what I want.
And
I want to open a brewery like this in Vermont, retire up here, and just enjoy.
And they got a hill that you can run up and twirl your dress around and talk about how the hills
how they're alive with the sound.
How the hills have eyes. No.
Oh, they're alive.
Oh, live.
Different
God,
movie.
the hills are alive. That's even worse.
Different movie.
One of the things I think about them too is that, I mean, for a beer, for a brewery as well regarded as they are, they could just brew their own stuff and be sought after and thrive forever. But they do so many collaborations. They
do.
I think that's fantastic too. You know, I've never had a Fox Farm beer. I'm trying to find them, but
oh my God!
They did a Narragansett collab, a fest beer that was fantastic. That I did get.
Mm-hmm.
So many other good beers. That the Maple Rauch is a collaboration, I think, with the
wait a second.
Oakhouse.
Hold on, John. 1 second. Jersey.
No.
Johnny.
That is one of my sought after beers. It wasn't there, and I got to tell you, the Maple Rauch. I have to find that. I have to get that beer. All right, but beyond that, they had the Uber Trosten, right? And it was a smoked Dunkel, I believe.
Oh, they did a Dunkelweizen with Trogs too.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah,
and they literally ran out of it the night before I got there. So if we had gone there on Sunday on the way back from Schilling, I would have had it. But we went on Tuesday and I didn't have it. So my staying at Schilling 2 hours longer than I was supposed to cost me from having that beer.
Not the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing. No, I'm upset by any means, but I do need to find that Maple Rauch.
But if Schilling were to burn to the ground, we would know why. At any rate.
Yeah. but Guru, next year I do plan on hitting Fox Farm. I'll grab a bunch, and if you haven't had any by then, I will send you some.
I got to get the Fox Farm too. I got to get up there.
I was there once, but it was during COVID. You placed your order online, you pulled up, you popped your trunk, they put the beer in, you yelled thank you through the back of your car and drove away.
Yeah.
You weren't even allowed to roll your window down.
Yeah. We went through that here too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's the same at Reformation and some of the other
groups. Same. Hence the rise even higher of these online beer ordering.
Yeah, that's again that's when
and we're back.
2020. That's when I discovered Craft Shack, and they may have been around before that, but that's when
they've been around a little bit, but
we've mentioned a few other services, right? Beer Drop.
We actually I don't know if you did, but I wasn't even aware of Beer Drop until we had Josh Schaefer Josh on the show, and who was working out at what was the brewery he's working at?
Something and something.
Finkel and Garf.
Finkel and Garf.
Yeah.
Oh, Finkel and Garf makes such good beer.
Yeah.
But that's why I remember during the show, I placed my order during the show.
You did.
I was entering my credit card information during it.
Well, that's what he said. At Finkel and Garf, because we were asking, we're like, okay, Josh, we need to somehow, get some of the Finkel and Garf beer. It's in Boulder, Colorado. He was on the show from there. And he's a Jersey guy. And we had him on the show. We knew him. He's from Jersey, went transplanted out there. And he's working for Finkel and Garf. He did work for Black Project, spontaneous fermented.
Yes, Black Project. As a matter of fact, some of the stuff I've gotten from Tavour comes from Black Project.
Right. Yeah. So, and then he went to Finkel and Garf after that. But he was talking about the fact that Beer Drop had their beer, and they shipped to Jersey. So we went right on and boom, ordered beer from Beer Drop. So that was the first, introduction to Beer Drop that I had. But now a behemoth, obviously Halftime is a behemoth, right? And
Yes.
they're working with Untapped. They're working with.
You've really got to sort through and put the filters on if you want to actually figure out what you want to order.
Right. They're working with. They've been working with Beer Advocate for the Extreme Beer Fest boxes now that they're not doing it in person anymore. It's all
Right.
you get your EBF boxes. That's all Halftime. So they're a behemoth, but Tavour has a pretty cool app and a pretty good stream of really good beer coming through there.
And they don't overwhelm you.
No. They don't underwhelm you either in
Right.
that same regard.
Well, what they do is they replace quantity with quality.
Yep.
And I'm looking at Beer Drop right now.
Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of beer on Beer Drop right now. I looked the other day too.
Yeah, but they have Schilling. They have Weldworks. There's Other Half. They've got Equilibrium. They've got Tilted Barn.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Which is
all of those from Halftime, by the way, except for
I gotta be honest with you. How weird would it be? And I do have some Tilted.
They have foam too.
Enegren, my Enegren source was Craft Shack, and if they still had Enegren, I would buy boxes just of Enegren. But for some reason, they stopped selling Enegren, and now Halftime has it, which is it's from Moorpark, California, right?
Yeah.
And all the way across the country to New York, but I can get it there. Enegren is so good. It just sometimes the disconnects in who has what are really surprising too. But
yeah, that was the point I was making here. It's like, how do they have Tilted Barn, yet they're out of Colorado, and I've been on I've been on Halftime, which is a lot closer, and they don't have Tilted. Amazing.
I did pour my next beer, which as much as I've talked about Halftime, I should have a beer that I got from Halftime.
You should.
And it's Lawson's Sip of Sunshine, which
that's such a great beer.
I just love this beer. To me, this is every bit as good as Hetty. It has.
I like it better, actually.
Yeah, it has the advantage that you can actually get it, which is a big plus. Because if I like a beer, I want to drink the damn thing. So, but
inappropriate branded glassware.
Yeah, in my Lawson's glass. I can get, and the interesting thing is, if on Halftime, a stovepipe is $6 and a pint can is $9. I think the distinction is the stovepipes are contract brewed at Two Roads.
Yes, they are.
And the pints are from the actual brewery. They taste the same. It's
the Two Roads. You can tell the Two Roads. I think the Two Roads have like the green band around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Two Roads.
And I will tell you, and on that note, because we left Burlington and we drove out because we came back to Burlington and did a few things before we drove home. We didn't get home till 2:00 in the morning, like Wednesday morning, right?
That's a good day,
right? So, whatchamacallit? But when we went up to Von Trapp that day, not to cut you off and talk more about that Sip of Sunshine, I want you to, but when we went up to Von Trapp, we went up 89, and then we got off on the road that make the left and go up past Ben and Jerry's and go up to Von Trapp. The same distance, basically, going up to Von Trapp. The other way from 89 is Lawson's. Yeah. So the plan was to leave Von Trapp and go to Lawson's and then come back to Burlington. We spent so much time at Von Trapp, we didn't go to Lawson's. So
it seems to be a theme of the trip.
It was. Just meaning we have to go back. That's all it means.
But the thing about Lawson's, and got to let the Jersey pride show there, Pete Lawson is a Jersey boy.
Yep.
Who relocated to Vermont to open his brewery.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm fairly certain he's from Saddlebrook. He might be from Lyndhurst. It's one of the two. I'm fairly certain he's from Saddlebrook, but
When you
I
grew
met
up in-
him. I forget which. We were talking about it, but I forget which he's from. I'm fairly certain it's Saddlebrook. It's one of the two, though.
Go Lyndhurst. We have a warehouse there. I ship stuff out of it all the time. So just
I grew up in the town right next to Lyndhurst, which is North Arlington.
You never grew up. Shut up.
Well, that's true. I was born and attempted to be raised in the town next to Lyndhurst.
Well, you were raised there.
Right. I just didn't grow
the
up,
success rate of that is in question.
Well, I will say that, but Lawson's one of the great. Again, one of the things, and I don't praise halftime, so I get no compensation for this. As you guys know, in our group, we frown upon at least not recognizing compensation for endorsements.
Right.
Well, I've received free samples in the past, but when I do, I make a donation to charity in equal amount to the value.
That is a good. That's. Awesome.
And I got to give Doug Smith credit for that because it's something that we've always done, but it was his idea. But what it does is it takes. I mean, you.
Holy crap! That would make Cthulhu broke.
Well, I mean, there's no incentive.
You'd be in the Poe house.
You'd be in the Poe house. Yeah.
This is true.
You wouldn't love craft anymore. But
I love it.
Yeah,
and the puns are flowing freely on.
But the point is
that's an open. Hang on.
I'm not going to give a biased opinion in hopes of getting more freebies because I really don't get any freebies. Right? I'm gonna donate something to a charity in equal value. But what I've had this isn't the only great beer from Lawson's that I've had, which was my point. I've had a lot of great beers from Lawson's, all from halftime, and they give me access to them. And I think really of all the services I've used over the years, halftime has got to be the best. Their customer service is great. Anytime I've had a problem, they've been great about it. To be fair, Craft Shack, their customer service is really good too. Mm-hmm. Neither one of I've never had a damaged product or broken product from either one of them. Craft Shack, their vendors, if they send you bottled beer, they have them tape up the caps, which I think is good too. Yeah, so they're both really great, but halftime gets the edge. They just for me go over the top. So.
What's your experience with Tavour?
Again, they don't.
He has an order. They don't ship.
They don't ship the.
Oh, that's right. You can't. The thing with Tavour, John knows this. I found out the hard way. Do not order from Tavour after mid-November. It will take 2 months for you to get your beer.
Yeah, it's not Tavour's fault. It's the distribution. It's the shipping companies.
Well, it's Tavour's fault for using that shipping company.
Right. Well, yeah. Tavour ships to a local distributor in every state. Every state has their own local shipper, right? Shipping company.
Delivery company.
Delivery company.
The last mile company.
The last mile, right. That's the issue. It's the last mile company. That's the issue.
But you would think they've heard enough from this region and their last mile company that they would research other last mile companies that could get their product there before all the IPAs no longer taste like IPAs.
Yeah.
Now I get it. It's the holiday season. You know, we've talked about this many times before. I'm in logistics. I understand seasonality of shipping painfully well. So my advice to you, if you're going to use Tavour, once you get about to mid-November, do not order from Tavour until after the new year. Just don't do it. You're going to wait too damn long for your beer. You liked that one, didn't you?
Oh, this beer. The next time. Okay. Putting it out there right now. Anybody sees Fontaflora Specks of Sand Roggen beer anywhere, let me know right away. I need to get it. It's fantastic. There you go. So there you go. I'll be opening my fourth.
I've got my fourth set up because I actually beat you this time.
You did.
Yeah, I did. My fourth.
May the fourth be with you.
Oh, we've passed that already.
That was last week. Remember?
Yes. But this one here, I went to the dark side.
So did I.
See what I did there?
Okay.
And this one, this is one of the other ones I got from Tavour. I actually ordered 4 bottles of this because it is a classic. Along the lines of that smoked porter that Guru had just drank. I would have gladly have traded him 2 of these for his.
And I got to be honest with you, if I were him, I would not have just done that trade.
No, because you know what this beer is. But
I know
still.
Oh, no. A fantastic beer, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But can be had a lot easier than what he drank.
Yes. So this is what I'm going to end the night with, which means I'm sleeping well, and my emails can go fuck themselves first thing in the morning.
Quite literally.
I like that attitude.
But I'm drinking this purposely out of this glass.
And
the reason I'm purposely drinking it out of this glass is because they have just started their own beer by mail service. And the glass is Untapped. Now, Untapped's beer mail service does not come into New Jersey.
It does not ship to New Jersey, yeah.
So we've not ordered from it, so I can't vouch for it whatsoever. But we'll see if they come to New Jersey, what we can, what we do. But, John, what's your 4th?
Well, before I say my 4th, Doug Smith just commented and he said, remember Brews and Ales? They closed, sadly.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
I didn't know them.
Yeah, they're in Nashville. They
Nashville,
did ship. I never ordered by mail because I shopped there in person a few times when I had been in Nashville. It's not too far from here, but I think he did. Yeah, and he's right. They did ship. They did ship. Yeah.
There's another store in Nashville too. What the hell's the name of it? I want to say World something. I could be wrong. I'll think of it. It'll come to me.
You're not thinking of Small World Brewing, are you?
No. I
loved that place.
It was on Henderson, just south of the hospital before you got to where the
that's not helping anybody.
Where the Biltmore was.
Okay.
Well, I'm helping you, so you might remember where it is.
Brews and Ales wasn't too far from the Biltmore, actually.
Well, it's actually you know where High Wire, not the South Slope,
not
High
South
Wire,
Slope, the other one, yeah.
The other High Wire that's right near the Biltmore. It was basically on Henderson in front of it.
Okay.
So
I always went to Brews and Ales, and they were so good. I was shocked when they closed because my wife has a picture of me standing in Brews and Ales, perusing all of these different beers, and she's talking to me, and I'm not hearing a word she's saying. I'm just looking at all of these beers.
That's fantastic.
Such a great story. Yep.
Well, as Dave looks for it, I'll throw up my whatchamacallit here. It's Dunkelwood by Elder Pine. Right here. It's a oak aged Munich Dunkel lager.
There's a wine store right across the street from High Wire in Biltmore Village.
It is. I'll tell you where it is right now.
It's called but you said it was on Hamilton, right?
Henderson.
It's High Wire's Henderson. High Wire's between Biltmore and Huntsman. Going through the maps here, I don't see.
I can see right where it is. Hold on one second.
This is enthralling. There's Hendersonville Road right there. So this is enthralling for our listeners. As
High Wire. I've got to tell you my High Wire story. I love High Wire.
So do I.
First time I went to High Wire, it was not intentional. My wife,
same,
and his sister, we were staying in a hotel not too far away, and they dropped me off at Wicked Weed and said, "Go have fun and take a cab back to the hotel." Bad idea, but they did it, and so I leave Wicked Weed, and Doug had said, "Oh, you got to get to Wedge." Now I'd never been to Wedge before, so I'm on the way to Wedge. I never made it to Wedge. I literally stumbled on High Wire. I'm like, "Oh, what's this? This looks interesting. Let's go in High Wire." And I just loved every beer they had. That was the first time I went there, and luckily we get their beers here in Georgia. So
do you? So jealous.
I buy them a lot, but Yeah, that was one of those beer moments that you're never going to forget, no matter what. So
It's the same thing when we were in Nashville. We were in Nashville for one of Carrie's landmark birthdays, and
21.
yeah, 21, absolutely 21. And
Tell her I want a pat on my back for that.
yeah, so we wandered into there because they're right there. We were staying a block and a half away from there in an Airbnb, and we wandered in, and it was just to sit down and have another beer. And we started drinking their beer, and we wound up having 4 each there. And I remember when John was getting ready to go, I told you straight out, Highwire, it might be one of the most underrated breweries in all of Nashville.
100%. It was one of the best experiences we had. I got to tell you, the beer was fantastic. Look, Burial was fantastic.
Oh, Burial's Burial.
Dissolver was fantastic.
Dissolver, yes.
Okay. And I could go on and on.
And Green Man is Green Man.
Green Man is Green Man. And what's the one up north that I went to that you went to?
The one on the river?
No, up further. You go it's like about 10 minutes north of downtown. I'll think of it.
I like French Broad. I don't know if you guys, and they've changed.
French Broad went to French Broad.
I did not make it.
There's a distillery right next to French Broad too, and it's fantastic. That's where I got the bottle of.
I don't think that was there when I went there, but
it was so good. Yeah, the distillery was good, but yeah,
of course we went to Sierra Nevada, which is a little outside.
Oh, well, Sierra Nevada is a Disneyland down in Mill River.
That's just like an amazing brew house.
The food there,
you could stay there forever.
God, the food there is astonishing. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing, one of the favorite things I ate that whole year was they did steamed mussels, but they steamed it in Tom Yum Gai.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's like this genius. It's absolute genius.
And then
fantastic.
And then you went there too, and you told me to go, and we went, and an underrated tiny hole in the wall place, One World.
One World is it's
right on Patton Ave, just up from
you got to go down an alleyway, and then walk down a couple flights of stairs to get into it.
And of course,
tiny.
Wow.
And it's cool.
If you're not go just for the beer, now of course my wife doesn't drink, but and neither does my sister-in-law, but they wanted to go to Biltmore, which was a great experience too. So I recommend that to if you're.
No, we went to the Biltmore. It was fantastic. Jess and I went to the Biltmore.
We didn't do it. We didn't have the time to
go to Black Mountain, do a little shopping, go to Pisgah. I mean, there's just like so much. I mean,
we spent 5 days in Nashville.
Yeah.
You could. We only spent 3, but the thing about One World is the beer is really good, but it's made even better by just the ambiance of the place and the people there. That's what makes a tap room.
Absolutely. We went up to the Moog Museum too. So I know I'm into that. I'm not sure if you are. The Moog Museum. Bob Moog. Keyboards. Moog keyboards. I know Bob Moog is from Asheville, and there's a Moog Museum there too. I was literally standing there. Jess has a video of me playing a theremin.
Nice. So my Abyss, I opened with this. Mm-hmm. This is the bottle cap.
That's beautiful.
Right. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. It's exactly as
right.
Any rate.
Remind me, we need to talk about that. We need to figure out what company that is, because I'm ordering them, and they may or may not have a wave on them when I order them. That's besides the point.
They should probably put a wave on them. Yeah. And the handle, rather than black, should be like dark blue, I think.
Or teal, maybe.
Yeah. Mm. You don't want to get confused with Miami too much.
That's true.
Maybe go a little with your darker shades.
A little darker. A couple of comments from Doug really quick. He said, Brews and Ales shipped all over all the great Asheville, North Carolina beers. Got my first Burial beers from Brews and Ales.
Nice.
Yeah. And Doug, if you get back to Asheville at all, and you go to Burial, not the one down in Fort,
the South Slope one,
the South Slope one. Go to the van outside that has all the stickers all over it. You got to find 2 Coastal Brewworks stickers and 2 Beer Samurai stickers.
Yeah, they're
there. They're on the van.
And there's one set of them is right next to the Bolero Snort sticker.
The Bolero Snort sticker. Yeah, exactly. And then he also said, One World just opened when I visited a year ago. I need to get back. Yeah, the beers. And they just, when I was there, they had a it was either a 1 or a 2 barrel brew house that they were working with, and they just They just upgraded to a 10-barrel brew house. I went twice. Actually, went to One World twice last year. Once in February, once again in May. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
So remember the last time I had Abyss on the Abyss on the show?
I do remember.
Remember my complaint about it?
Yes, I do.
And we were like, maybe
maybe a month or two. The next bottle, same thing.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah. It's it's actually pushed beyond licorice. We're approaching soy sauce.
I got you. So it definitely wasn't the bottle. It's the
batch. It's the age and the
batch. Batch and the age. Yeah.
Which is weird because the Abyss usually ages so beautifully.
That Deschutes makes a great beer. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be the batch. It's got to be the batch because I've sat on bottles of Abyss before and they were fine.
This bottle's only this bottle 2 years ago.
It was 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, and for an Abyss, only 2 years to start approaching soy sauce. That's unheard of. Yeah. I've had Abysses that were like 8 years old that were fantastic.
Yeah.
So it had to be this one particular batch. There had to be something in the brewing process or in the bottling process that went wrong. Now, all the other beautiful notes of the beer are in there, but there's this underlying this is going to be soy sauce. 2
shows in a row that we have sirens.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's the fire department. That sounds like the police department.
No, that sounds like an ambulance or the police department. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's 2 there. You're right. It's the ambulance and the police department.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, hey, there's sirens in the beginning of the song, the intro song, right? And we did not take that. We did not take that from Steal This Beer. Okay, that was a song written by Log that we use as our opener, and they never heard the open to Steal This Beer. So,
wish we had half the viewership.
It would be nice to have the viewership of Steal This Beer.
Yes, absolutely.
But neither of us are Augie, and neither of us are John. Well, I'm John, but not Hall.
You are John, but you're not John Hall.
All right, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know I don't think any of us could dress as sharply as John Hall.
No, not at all.
I can't pull off a bow tie.
Well, I do have that picture.
I can pull one off, but I can't.
I do have that picture of Matt and I with John at Fulton Brewing up in
where he's got his untied.
Where it's untied, right?
I've never seen his bow tie untied before. I always figured they were clip-ons.
No, he ties them. I can definitely vouch for that. He ties
you watch him?
Well,
prep.
No. I don't watch him prep. I've seen it untied and he retied it.
I thought you had like
no,
like a telescope or something.
Not there. No, he sends me videos like how to tie a bow tie.
I think
he should do that.
Showers with a bow tie.
He actually should.
Oh wow, this took a weird turn.
It did. So on speaking of Tavour, okay, so we're talking about Tavour.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to.
So answer my question, John. What's in your crate?
What's in your crate? Okay, right now I have 10 beers in my crate. There will be more. I may push out my shipping date. Right now it's 2 weeks. I have 13 days left to add.
You know, there's only 3 in my crate right now.
There's 10 in my crate. I always have a crate going. It sucks. Jess gets pissed off. She's like, "Stop ordering beer. You make beer. Stop ordering beer." So,
and the only thing is, it's a shame that she doesn't make her own little Christmas village buildings.
Right. Exactly.
Because I imagine what she spends on those may approach what you spend on beer.
Pretty much. But right now I have 10 beers. So I'll just tell you right now, I have an ESB. I have a Helles Lager.
Okay.
I have a Helles Lager.
You have another Helles Lager.
I have a Kolsch. I have an ESB. So it's 2 SBs. I have a English Dark Mild. Shocker, I know.
Big shock.
I have a Dunkel, and that's from Gold Dot. That's the collab between.
That's the Gold Dot. That's Peter not the thing is, earlier today, Gold Dot was available. It's gone now.
It's gone now. Yeah. I have a Helles Lager, so that's 3 Helles Lagers. I have a Pilsner, a Czech Pilsner from Wayfinder.
I've had that one.
It's the no, they make several. This one is CZAF, so I'm assuming that stands for Czech as fuck.
It stands for Czech as fuck, and I believe I thought I had that in mind. I don't see it in mine.
And I have and my 10th beer is a Crooked Stave hazelnut macchiato stout.
I saw that one and I passed on it.
Yeah.
You know, right? You know why CZAF is not in my... It is sold out.
It is sold out. There you go.
My crate, right now, what's in my crate...
It's one of each, by the way. Anything, like, I will buy, like, any Heater Allens. I'll tell you right now. Tell me your crate, and then I'll tell you where I was going, because I was going to go down that road, but I'll do that after you tell me your crate.
Well, I've got 3 Imperial Stouts in the crate right now, 2 of which are barrel aged.
Okay.
Everything else, not shocked. Everything else are pre-orders and a wait list.
Right. And
the wait list is Deschutes Saison. But of the other ones, it's 2 rare barrels, an Anchorage. I'm sorry, 3 rare barrels and an Anchorage that I have on pre-order.
Right.
And it's American Wild, a sour, a Saison, and a sour.
Gotcha. Yeah, you order the barrel aged stuff and the sours and the wild ales.
But you know, I also, because seriously, what have I drank tonight? They
I know,
from Tavour. But
I
there's nothing left because John went and ordered all of them.
I ordered all of them. That's it. Yeah.
And now they're sold out. He bought all of them.
I have to say, my instant gratification brain is amazed you guys can have something in a crate and be waiting for it. When I'm on halftime, I'm like, okay, that's going in the cart, that's going in the cart. Okay, when can I get it? Can I get it next flight out? How much is that going to cost me? Can I get it tomorrow? Right?
You know why? Because I've got to drink through what I have already.
Yeah,
I have that same problem. I have. You should see.
John,
have to drink through
it's twofold. It's twofold, right? One, we have to drink what we already have, and I'll be honest, most of the beer that I buy on Tavour, I buy for the show. Okay. I drink it on the show. Probably 80+% of it I drink on the Log Room Guys. But it's twofold that we do that. One, it's so that we can drink through what we've already bought and not have extra beer sitting here. And 2, and more importantly, to eat up that, that $14. I don't want to order 3 beers because Tavour, they don't have like all of these lagers that I bought, all these ESBs, everything else. They're not all available at the same time. They come available. Different beers come available every day.
And if you put your notifications on, they'll tell you what's coming.
And I push notifications. My phone pops up with, "Hey, this beer." I look at it. I'm getting that. Boom, 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 and it's in my cart. So, and what Tavour does too is they charge you if you put it. You have your credit card information in your account. Yep. They charge your credit card. It's almost annoying, but it works. They charge your credit every time you buy a beer. They charge your credit card. It's not. They don't charge you when when you're done and you're closing out your cart and shipping. They charge it as it goes. Every beer you buy, they charge your card. So by the time it comes to shipping, all you're doing is paying the $14 for the shipping.
Pretty much.
What Halftime does that hooks me in is they send me emails, and we have this beer, and then it doesn't matter. I have a bunch of beers I need to still work. Actually, I've got most of them. The beers I've got from them I've drunk through, but I've got a bunch of stuff I bought, locally, and I have a ton of beer on hand at all times. I'm sure you guys do too.
Sure. But too much, actually. To be quite honest with you, if you take a ride up here and Dave comes over and the 3 of us are sitting in my living room, we could probably drink for 3 days.
Yeah.
You can see this is just a very small portion of what I've got set aside. There's a rack over there, and there's what's in the beer fridge as well. And then there's what's actually out in the kitchen. So yeah, I've got quite a bit. I mean, granted, it's not like Brian Ultra level of that's spreadsheet.
I'm getting there. I'll never do a spreadsheet. I'm getting there, but
you're getting back there.
I'm getting back. That's true. I'm getting back there. Yeah, I did. I was there, and then it kind of all went away right away.
Oh, I was there as well, but then what wound up happening? I wound up drinking through my cellar because. When do you get divorced? All the fees that are involved in that, really, you got to cut some things out. So I wound up drinking.
Why don't you tell me about that? Because I don't know about that.
Yeah, you've been through that. Where
luckily, my wife is addicted to crafting and scrapbooking. So
your wife is addicted to you. That's the important part.
Like I said, my wife is addicted to crafting and scrapbooking. So she's got as much of that stuff as I got beer. So it kind of balances out.
We got a couple new comments.
We do. Tommy BP from Twitch says, "Hey everyone," and then he said, I'm really into Coors Banquets. Do you guys have any new recommendations? Well, if you're drinking Coors Banquets,
God, I used to love Coors Banquet.
I gotta be honest with you. I know obviously craft beer. It's a craft beer show. I'll give you one example. Like there's a hot dog place up in North Jersey, Ruts Hut. Right?
Ruts Hut.
Now there's a great brewery across the street from there now.
Ghost Hawk Brewing, one of my favorites.
Before that, there was no beer there, right? So if I wanted, and they don't have any craft on tap or in bottles or anything there. But if I wanted a beer when I was sitting at the bar having several hot dogs and chili and everything else, I would have a Coors Banquet. So I will drink a Coors Banquet.
And I would actually sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do the Miller High Life.
Yeah, Miller's a good choice too.
They have that as well. But now pay attention to what we drank earlier on the show.
Yes.
These are what we refer to as gateway beers.
Yeah.
These are, so John started at the top of the show with a Helles Lager.
Mm-hmm.
A Helles Lager is a fantastic gateway beer into craft beer from what we refer to as big beer in the U.S. And this is Coors, this is Miller, this is Budweiser, all of those. But even the Czech Pilsners that John and I both drank, a lot of those. And there's so many ways to branch out from the American adjunct Pilsners, as we mostly know them as,
right,
into actually the older styles which they were born out of.
Right. Yeah. These styles that we're talking about, Tommy, are what Coors Banquet and Miller High Life and Budweiser, for that matter.
Well, Budweiser was a straight up theft.
Well, Budweiser, keep in mind, and you're drinking Coors Banquet, so we're not talking about. Budweiser actually stole the recipe of Budvar, and then became very big and told Budvar they couldn't call Budvar Bud anymore.
But not only that, but they stole their slogan as well, because Budvar's slogan, Budvar, their slogan was the beer of kings,
right?
Because they did brew for the king,
right?
As opposed to
beers, right?
So they even stole the slogan and then sued them, so they couldn't use their own name outside the Czech Republic anymore.
So they changed from Budvar.
Tuborg was a Danish beer that came into the U.S. And their slogan was they were the beer of Danish kings, and because it was $2.22 a six pack, we always called it the beer of cheap Danish kings. But I digress.
Well, no, you just stole the Mulva Hill line.
Yeah, that was a Mulva Hill line. Yeah. That was a beer with line.
Actually, Jackson used that all the time too. But
there you go. That's probably where Tom got it from. So there you go. Probably.
I will say though, that's an interesting point. That's about the Coors Banquet beer, because we haven't touched on beer smuggling, and in the late 80s,
and you're in Georgia now, near the Smokies, so
yeah, this took place in my experience in the mid to late 80s and the early 90s. You could not get Coors in the East. It was not exported, and
there was there was an interesting movie made in 1977 on this particular topic.
Yeah,
there's a black tram involved.
People would come with cases of Coors beer, and people would pay through the nose for it. I remember people would come in the liquor store and ask for it on the hush hush, and some people would have it, and you had a source that could get you Coors beer, and that's actually pretty interesting. They did something that Budweiser didn't, which was make it scarce, right? Keep it local, and
right. East of the Mississippi River was a cutoff for Coors. That was what it was. So,
and as far as Anheuser-Busch and stealing, Budweiser from Budvar, they actually did it twice, because Michelob was named for Michelovice in the Czech Republic too, and
sure
they stole that one as well. So come on, AB.
I will tell you though, and I've said this before on the show, and I think I've said it to you too, John. I've never, ever, and this is a personal preference, okay? You drink what you want, okay? Samurai says it all the time too. Drink what you want. You like Bud? Drink Bud. That's fine.
Actually, my statement, if you go on Untapped, and you look at my statement on Untapped, drink what you like, let others drink what they like. Don't be a douche.
Yeah, I agree. I think our personal taste is just that, personal taste.
It's personal taste taste. And it's actually your the end of your bio on the Lager Room Guys website too.
Yes, it is.
So you said, drink what you want, let others drink what they want. Don't be except for seltzers. I think you put that on.
I think except for the thing is, I've got to change it now. Except for seltzers and non-alcoholic hard
Non-alcoholic folks.
seltzers.
Exactly. Non-alcoholic hard seltzers. That's a whole nother show. I don't want to talk about that.
No, we're not doing a show on that.
Hey, look,
no.
I bought this bottle for 60 cents at ShopRite. It's a non-alcoholic hard seltzer. All right. All right. Anyway, but on that note, where was I? Forget. No, drink what you want. But I've never, ever liked Bud. Bud has always given me a headache, and I don't mean the next morning. I mean 10 minutes after I start.
Okay, I've got a theory behind that.
Go for it.
I'm
going somewhere. I have something to say, but give me your theory first.
My theory is that they put MSG in their beer.
I wouldn't be shocked.
And I know somebody, and you know somebody who works for Anheuser-Busch.
Worked for
Anheuser-Busch. And not only did Budweiser give me a headache, Shock Top gave me a straight up migraine.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to this person once, sitting in the brewery at Carton, down the brewing area. And I said to this person, I said, you work for Anheuser-Busch. I get a headache every time I drink them. I have a sensitivity to MSG. Do they put MSG in Shock Top and or Budweiser? He straight up Kermit the Frog me.
Yep, exactly. No comment, right?
He wouldn't comment, which to me,
and to be quite honest with you, and he did his thing. He no longer works for them. So if we ask him now, in fact, the next time I talk to him, because I do talk to him on somewhat regular basis, Matt and myself, I'll ask him again. So
yeah.
But on that note, unless he sent an NDA, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But in any event, I literally would always get a headache. Okay, so to the point where when I was, and I've said the story all the time, when I was 15 years old, if I went over to a friend of mine's house that had an older brother, and he said, "Hey, my brother brought us beer." Oh, what did he get? Budweiser. I literally said, "Do you have a soda?" Would not drink it. Would not drink it.
Excuse
bless
me.
you. And I wasn't being a beer snob. I just didn't want to get a headache. Right. But in any event, on that note, I digress. I will say.
Oh, do I have to use it now?
Michelob. I would.
I don't get a headache.
I would drink Michelob. Michelob, I would drink. They don't make it anymore. I'm not drinking Mick Ultra or anything like that. But just regular Michelob in that bottle that they had. Bless you. I would drink that. And don't even get me started on the Michelob Bach, because that was good. It was a good beer.
It was a good beer.
Yeah.
Good beer.
I think it was pretty much the same as Ziegenbach that they sold in Texas, right? So,
yeah, pretty much.
That was an AB animal too, but it was actually not that bad of a beer. Michelob was better than Budweiser anyway.
Big time better than Budweiser.
Yeah, I drank Michelob in the day.
PBR is still my guilty pleasure.
PBR is good because it's actually not bad and it's cheap. I can get like a 23-ounce mug for like $2.50 at Taco Bell.
Oh God, when you can find it on
draft,
it's a beautiful thing. But I would get a 24-pack of PBRs when I had a house and I had a grill and a smoker, because
never mind. I know where you're going. Yeah.
Oh no, even when I rented afterwards, but
okay.
I had my grill out there. When I had the smoker going, the PBR, as most guys who grill and smoke know, your timing mechanism are your beers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you finish a beer, you add another log to the fire. For me, it was 2 beers and I added a log to the fire because it's PBR. It's PBR 12 ounce cans. So
I did that too. Like if I'm drinking a beer that I'm as the kids say these days, crushing, right?
Crushing.
Then it's 2 beers. If I'm drinking a beer that I'm enjoying, it's 1 beer.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Yeah. Or is my thing, I should say. I still smoke beer. I smoke beer. I smoke beer. I smoke beer. Beer.
What is
John is on his.
I smoke these. That's the only thing I smoke.
You smoke weed? Oh, these.
Weed. Those of you listening to the audio podcast, I'm holding up a cigar. There you go. And one of my favorite cigars too, an Arturo Fuente Hemingway. But
yeah,
John Henderson will appreciate that.
We're getting into Freud now here. Remember, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
It's just a cigar.
That's a quote from Freud, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
And yet a beer is never just a
It's
beer.
never just a beer.
Well, sometimes a beer is just a beer. And you're
That-
like, that's a beer.
Yeah, that's a beer.
And sometimes that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
it's true.
You know, sometimes you want your beer to just taste like a goddamn beer.
Exactly.
I remember that we used to do bottle shares at a place called Poor Henry's.
Mhm. They were fantastic. weren't
Poor
they?
Henry's in Philly?
No.
Oh.
Poor Henry's, just outside of. It was in Booton.
Oh, okay. It
in
was a
Booton.
bar.
They were a victim to COVID. But we'd have these bottle shares, and we had different levels of palate and tasting, and everyone has got their own palate. But a lot of times when they couldn't figure out this one flavor, they'd turn like, Samurai, what are you getting out of it? And sometimes I just look back at them and go, I just want to enjoy my fucking beer, guys. I don't want to break it down. There's times where, I'm going to break a beer down. I'm going to explore every element, every square millimeter of my tongue. I'm going to explore the upper palate, all that.
Of course.
Figure out where all these flavors are coming in. See what's the malts throwing, what are the hops throwing, what's the yeast throwing, where are the phenols, where are the esters, what am I getting out of this? Break down every element of the tasting. But there's sometimes I just want to enjoy my fucking beer. I don't want to think. I just want to enjoy it.
And even then, I think sometimes you're still doing it. You're just not consciously doing it, and you're not recording it, and you're not.
No, it's true.
Sort of still going over all of those different sensations that are flowing across your taste buds.
I half agree with you. Sometimes what you're doing, rather than going through every microcosm of the tasting elements, you're exploring that overall of the conglomerate.
Yeah. Of
all those flavors coming together. And that's when I would always say, I just want to enjoy my fucking beer, because I'm enjoying the combination of it all rather than breaking it down.
No, yeah.
It's just that combination. And there's some beers that I think really are served very well by doing that.
Yeah.
And there's some beers that are served better by breaking it down. It really depends on how well all those flavors come together and how they mesh. And if you've got a beer where you just want to sit there and enjoy the overall, the brewer's done their job. They've really done
100%. We had this exact same conversation. Take yourself back about 12 years at Tap House in Wayne. You and I were sitting at a table and having this exact same conversation.
We were having it. And 12 years ago, this was the first ever New Jersey tap takeover.
Ever at
This
Tap
is the
House.
first time I'd ever drank Bolero Snort, and they had to take it off tap when they realized that Bob didn't have a license and shouldn't be there. It was, oh my God, we had so much fun. And I was there with Vin, and Mike Kane was there. He was so tired of talking to people, he came and hung out with Vin and
Mike,
for a while.
Mike was there for a bit. Yeah, Mike was there hanging out.
And I remember one of the breweries, can't remember the name of it, but we had so much fun with them. They had to leave, so they gave Vin and I all of their paraphernalia to hand out. So we became representatives.
Was that Turtle Stone? Because
No. Turtle Stone was there.
They were
there. Turtle Stone was there, and
they're gone. By the way, they haven't been a brewery in like 8 years.
They never really opened.
No, they opened, but they were open only for like 2 years. They were open.
Not even, and that fell to a divorce case, from what I understand.
Right.
And at that event, I bought their pint glass.
Do you know who was there, by the way?
Who?
Somebody that is watching the show right now, Mr. Brian Boak. He was there.
Brian Boak was there.
He was there.
And as a matter of fact, I remember also, speaking of OGs, somebody that we both know and love, who would have his say on the catwalk, was there as well with his entourage. Mr. Rick Reed.
Mr. Rick Reed, yes. Well,
rolled in with a fucking entourage to that event.
Yes, he did. He did.
That was a fun event. The only thing I hated about that event is that bar was encased in brick. So you could not tap. You couldn't check anything on Untapped. You could not get the internet there whatsoever. And there's no Wi-Fi.
There was nothing. John, you get another beer?
I am getting another beer.
There you go.
And this one,
I just finished my fourth. I just chugged down an Abyss.
I don't know why you chugged an Abyss. I still have a little of my Dunkel left.
No, it's
enjoy this.
Well, the thing is, even though it's approaching soy, one of the stronger flavor elements that are coming out of it is that cherry Twizzler that Maris Otter throws.
So it's helping.
So that helps. When I concentrate on that, as well as the roasts, because you got to remember, Abyss is one of the roastier stouts out there.
Sure.
I mean, granted, it doesn't approach Yeti for roastiness because few stouts do, and that's why I love Yeti, and that's why Yeti is such a great pairing with cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Is because that high level of roast to it.
Yeah,
but
Yeti's very good when it comes.
And what did Nietzsche say about the abyss? He said, "Beware when you stare into the abyss, that the abyss does not stare back at you."
They're back at you. Yeah, exactly.
So we are offering both beer and philosophy on our show tonight, right?
I'm gonna spend the rest of the show staring at the abyss.
Staring at the abyss.
I have a beer for you guys that I got from the microbrew beer. I got it's Dick's Cream Stout.
Jesus Christ!
I knew you guys would like it. There is no Dick's cream in this beer, I will tell you, or I wouldn't be drinking it. I got this as a gift at Christmas. I got a 2.
So someone gifted you some Dick cream.
Well, they gave me a 2-month membership to the Brewed Beer of the Month Club. I'm not sure it's the same one as the 90s.
I don't think it is, but yeah.
But
no, I think they shut down.
I do have it in a Hales Ale glass now.
This is the first time.
When I was in Seattle, I went to Hales. They were phenomenal. You guys know that normally I like to.
Wait a second. Hales Ale in Seattle?
Hales Ale in Seattle. Yeah. They closed recently.
That's why they're not popping up in my research.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Seattle.
Oh, my God. They were so good. I spent hours there when I went on one of my 2 visits. I will tell you that normally I like my beers to go into. You guys know this, the brewery branded glass, but with Dick's beers, Dick's don't care where they go. So it's not so much, it's not so much of a concern. So.
As long as it goes in your face.
Yeah.
Not your face.
I was talking about your face. Oh my.
Sorry.
Very true, sir. Very true.
Actually, though, the interesting thing about this beer is that Dick's has been around for a long time in Centralia, Washington. And I had this beer. I don't know if I got it from Microbrew Club or from Beer Across America, but I had it in the 90s from a beer club. And now I'm having it again 20 some years later from a beer club. So it's actually pretty cool. And one of the reasons I thought it was apropos to the show tonight. So
100%.
Well,
aside from the fact I thought you guys would really love it, but yeah. So,
but here's the thing: about 50% of our conversation is not apropos to the show tonight.
And on that note, I'd like all of us to say, and I'm pretty sure he just joined the show. He can comment if he wants. Hi, Jim. Jim Healy.
Mr. Healy, how are you, sir?
There you go.
Oh, I haven't seen Jim in 2.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Jim since the launch party at Cloverleaf.
At Cloverleaf, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, he's done. That was a couple of years ago. So
yeah, I miss Jim.
Yeah. So hi, Jim. He pretty sure he's watching right now because he just liked it, and one new viewer popped up. So I'm assuming it's him.
Came up, liked it, logged off.
Yeah, he may very well have done that, but. In any event. All right. I'm ready for our top 3. What do you think?
Oh, I thought you say you're ready for your 5th.
No, if I'm going to have a 5th, I got to go downstairs and get it.
I just have to go right there.
I know you do. You have a fridge there. I don't. So,
I may open a 5th just to try my new glass out.
Try your new glass out.
I just got a glass today. It's not branded. I'm going to disappoint Guru here, but I thought it was really kind of neat. It's a mushroom glass.
A mushroom glass. Look at that.
I see no actual practical purpose for this shape. Mm-hmm. I do. The only thing that redeems it, there's a little
talk about this. I'm going to go get my 5th. Go.
There's a little bit of a flare to the top of it, which makes it possibly because there was those balls which just have the opening right at the top. To me, there's no point to that glass whatsoever other than to look neat. And I don't think there's much point to this glass either than to look neat. But the only
and to sell more glasses, right?
And
to sell more glasses.
But the company that sold this is going out of business, so I got this at half price.
Oh,
I'm like, why the fuck not? But the only thing I think that would do any justice out of this would be an IPA or something hoppy. Right, that's about it. So I'm actually going to pull out Something I managed to grab this weekend. Where is it? There we go. So I got a bunch of stuff this weekend. Carrie and I were up in New York State, and Foreign Objects has their nerve center up there, and so this one is their Occidental Littoral. So I wanted to pull this out because John, Jersey Johnny, do you know what littoral means?
Yes.
So this is in honor of Coastal Brewers because littoral means pretty much coastal. It means almost the same exact thing, and this is a West Coast style hoppy ale. And I think if I had anything, I think this would work best in this particular glass. So I'm going to break in the new glass on the show today. This came via U.S. Postal Service, which did their usual tender loving care of the package itself. It was written fragile all over it, and like Carrie quipped, I think if you write fragile on something, they kick around even harder.
Yeah, it's the best way to get something broken. Yeah.
So there we go. And this one I'm gonna have to take the obligatory picture of, John.
You got to take the obligatory picture.
I'm going to take my obligatory picture of this one and check it into Locker Room Guy Studio North.
I'll be checking all of mine into Locker Room Guy Studio South.
We should change them to Nord and Sud.
Sure, why not?
Like Aldi.
Yes, exactly. This is not an easy glass to drink out of, I'll tell you that right now.
I could imagine.
This is damn, that is really fucking good. So Foreign Objects, they've been gypsy brewers for the longest time. They just opened a tap room in Monroe, New York. They contract brew out of Bolero, as a matter of fact, where Coastal used to contract brew out of. And I know the Bolero's got some stake in their tap room in Monroe. But Foreign Objects, man, they do some good beers. They do some really weird sours that work. But this being a West Coast hoppy, there's the pine. Holy crap. It's, you know how rare it is these days to find a hoppy ale that throws pine?
It's very difficult.
You got to get to the West Coast to find that anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
There are actually a lot of brewers in Western North Carolina that make such IPAs too. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about it's not just Asheville, but all of that area in Western North Carolina, which is yeah.
John speaks the truth.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this: there was a beer brewed in New Jersey, released last November. It was a black IPA that threw a lot of pine, and it was actually wound up being the top rated black IPA in New Jersey on Untapped last year.
Was that from Alternate Ending?
That would be a collab between Alternate Endings and another brewery. I forget the other brewery.
I don't see enough.
Yeah, there's another brewery involved in there. That other brewery may eventually someday double decoct, like Alternate Ending does.
Well, that beer will get brewed again, but it's going to get brewed by us this year. So.
When he says us, he means Coastal Brew Works.
Oh yes.
Not John.
Not the three of us. The three of us are going to brew it here. We'll drink it. We're good. Yeah, there you go. So, in any event, my fifth beer, if you will, I just grabbed the 12 ounce that I had. I'd thrown it in there because I did have one last can of it from a while ago, and it's a Märzen.
That looks like a bird's mouth.
It's a bird's mouth Oktoberfest.
There it is. It is a bird's
mouth. And now I have to disclaimer: I did not get this on Tavour.
Yeah,
I got it from the brewery in Fort Monmouth, but it is indeed my fifth beer. So,
did you buy it right off of Andy?
Cheers. Yes, I bought it right off of Andy. Yes,
it was lying across the bar, and they had beers lined up right across his body. And
yes, I bought one right. I threw a $20 bill down and took a 6-pack. And
it's the craft beer version of Body Shots.
Exactly. Anyway, let's do our top three.
Oh God, what the hell is our top three again?
Our top three. You don't know what the top three is?
Oh, I've got notes over here.
You should know what the top. I hope you know what the top three is.
No, top three Mexican foods. You didn't change. You didn't change the crawl. You don't even know what the top three is, John, and you suggested it.
I put last week's up. I just wanted to bust your chops. Top three favorite beers.
No. He's saying birth. Sorry, it was an error. You can say
no.
You can say.
No, there's two of them there. I had them there. No, yeah. Top three favorite beers we've ever ordered online. Top three favorite beers. I mean, to quote a phrase that may or may not be proper grammar, duh. That's what we're doing tonight. So, top three favorite beers we've ever ordered online, and Mr. Staradumsky is going to start us out. Please kick us off, sir.
Okay, so two of them I've already talked about. Number three is, of course, the first, and that's the Rhino Chasers, because it was the first ever. I think. Online, it's certainly very memorable. It was a delicious beer, and I wish I could. It's one of those beers from your memory that you wish you could have again. Number two is the one that I started with. That's the Alaskan Smoked Porter. It's just phenomenal, and every time I see it,
I'm excited for your number one. If Alaskan Smoked Porter.
Well, there aren't many beers in the world that can top Alaskan Smoked Porter, but
that's very true.
There's one that I got a year ago that I had been wanting to try for the longest time. It's the only time I've ever ordered beer online and got one bottle delivered to my house. It was from Craft Shack, and it was West Fluttering 12. It was. I paid $75, including the insurance, to get it delivered. That one bottle, and it was worth every penny.
We brought this up last week, actually, on the show.
Okay.
Because we were talking about Heady Topper. We're talking about how Heady Topper is so highly rated and how Westy 12 is so highly rated. And when we talk about Heady Topper, we did discuss a few other IPAs actually from Vermont that we think are better and like better. And we posited that it's possible that Heady Topper's ranking is so high. One, we do know that it was one of the OGs, right? And there was no one doing what it did at the time. Alchemist was, they set the bar for what would become the New England IPA, right? But is it the best IPA out there anymore? I don't think so. I'm pretty certain John doesn't think so. I think Lawson's makes better IPAs at this point. Fiddlehead might even.
Yeah, Fiddlehead's good too.
Right.
And Fiddlehead's going to be on the show, by the way, on the 18th of June.
That's a beautiful thing. Love it. Because I fucking love Fiddlehead. But we also mentioned. I also mentioned that is this also the case for Westy 12? Because there are other Trappist quads that I like better, and Westy 12 is considered such a sought after beer because it's so hard to get.
Right. Now, mind you, and my statement
it's a fantastic beer.
It's fantastic beer, but my statement on this is I love Westy 12.
I do too.
I adore West Fluttering 12.
But St. Bernardus.
But St. Bernardus 12 is every bit as good as Westy 12, and I can get it at ShopRite Liquors around.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But it's the same theory as that I expounded on earlier with Lawson's, right? And Heady. Because the Alchemist and West Fluttering are doing the same thing. They're driving scarcity to drive the price up and drive really
like Pappy's
about the beer, right? But
it all comes. It's all Absolutely.
Here's the thing: I've heard that argument before about St. Bernardus, but if I'd never tried, and I agree with it, I think St. Bernardus 12, which I've bought. I mean, I've had it in the bottle. I've brought it home in crowlers. I've had it on draft in bars. It's a phenomenal beer. But if I hadn't bought that bottle of West Fluttering 12, I wouldn't know that, right? So
absolutely,
that's where I think being able to get access to it online it really was an amazing beer.
100%. 100%.
It might be. I think it has a slight edge over St. Bernardus, but when you look at, then I'm going to use the same argument I did with Lawson's. I can actually get the damn shit, right? Which I can do with St. Bernardus, and I can't do. So,
but that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
How much is it elevated because it's hard to get?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, there you go. And that's a great 3-2-1 too. The Rhino Chasers, the Alaska Smoke Porter, and the Westie 12. Absolutely. Samurai, what are your three?
Mine's really,
or excuse me, what are your five?
7. I have 4 that are honorable mentions. I'm actually.
I only have 2, so limit yourself to 2 honorable mentions. There.
Actually, I'm going to limit myself to actually one of them.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to do it in honor of you and I.
Right, fair enough.
Because, and you'll see why. Mm-hmm. It's Emocan Charlie 1 from Forgotten Roads.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm using this as my only honorable mention is because it is a stout, but it's maple and coconut.
Oh.
So it's combining your favorite adjunct and my favorite adjunct into one beer. This was such a treasure. And this is one of those cases where I was pissed off that I only ordered one of them.
Of course.
I should have ordered a couple of cases of this. It was such a good beer. But I don't know. I can't put this in the order of 3, 2, 1. It's just these 3 were.
So I'll put them 3, 2, 1 based on the order you give me. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable.
Well, that's why I'm going to try to do it in that case. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way. So number 3, and the only reason I'm putting this at number 3 rather than number 2 is because of is a little sweet, but still, if they back the sweetness down just a bit, I would have given this a 5. And this is from Cycle Brewing out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Cycle is known for their big ass, knock you on your ass stouts. But
big ass doesn't begin to describe Cycle Brewing. But that's
it's just this is massive. Sir Mix-a-Lot would just completely lose it. It's just
they should brew a beer and call it Sir Mix-a-Lot. They really
something because there's oh my god, this thing is.
I like big stouts and I cannot lie.
The other brothers can't deny. The thing walks in with big roasty profile.
We could write the parody all night. So,
but there's they make a beer that I got off of Tavour, R1 Rare DOS.
Wait, what was that?
R1 Rare DOS, DOS, like disk operating system.
R1 Rare DOS, right?
Yeah. This thing is fudgy. There's vanilla. Yeah, I know. I just said fudgy. We're talking about butts. So
you know what? No. I've had fudgy vanilla stouts from Cycle, so I know where you're going. But
however,
I haven't had this. But
however, there was also cherry and smoke.
Really?
Yeah.
So was there smoke unintentionally because sometimes that happens? Or
I think it was unintentional, but the smokiness of this beer cut into that kind of marshmallow sense that you get out of these big vanilla stouts. Right. Where I don't know if this was a lactose stout or not, but just because if you want lactose stouts in the Tampa St. Pete area, you go to Angry Chair.
Of course.
Angry Chair seriously needs an insulin station.
Their German chocolate cake stout is stupid.
Oh my god! And the dark chocolate brownie stout.
That's good too.
Yeah. So these things will send you into a diabetic shock. Cycle does these big stouts. There's a sweetness to them, but it's mostly due to all the malts and everything else. I'm not really sure how much lactose they use, which is a good thing because they do use lactose. And I've always said, if you use lactose and it changes the mouthfeel, you use
too much lactose. Absolutely.
Yes. If you can use just enough lactose to enhance it without changing the mouthfeel or making it overly sweet. You've heard me say it many times. Lactose to beer is like salt on food.
100%.
You use the right amount, you've enhanced your product. You use too much, you've destroyed it.
Of course.
And I have always looked at lactose that way. But this particular beer, that touch of smoke, and I don't know if it's from smoked malts or just highly roasted malts. But the smokiness and the cherry comes out again. I don't know if this is from Maris Otter. It was an intentional addition. but these things bite into that fudge and vanilla, balance it out into a cohesive whole. It was. I was really impressed by this beer. I thought they did a great job with it. The other one.
By the way, that was his number 3, folks. Okay.
Yes.
The last 6 minutes was his number 3.
And then he used the phrase cohesive whole to describe it. This is the second time you have impressed me tonight. So.
Oh, we got to get away from the anal references here. The next one actually is we're going to go a different direction here. Ale Song. Ale Song, God, they make some good beers.
Ale Song makes very good beers.
I've got a bottle sitting back there. I can't wait to break into it at some point because it's a standard, not the standard. There's nothing standard about what they do, but it's the base version of this beer that sits at my number 2, Island Rhino Soup. This is the tropical version of their milk stout. It is aged on toasted coconut, in rum barrels.
Very nice.
And there's nothing at all that I said there that is wrong.
Island Rhino Soup?
Island Rhino Soup by Ale Song. This was
RHINO or RINO?
Yes, just like John's Rhino Chasers.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to change mine because both of you have a rhino in your top 3s.
Yes, you have no rhinos.
I don't.
You have no rhinos.
If you need help, Doug Smith reminded me that Lost Rhino Brewing in Virginia.
Oh, Lost Rhino, yes, very good.
But they actually have resurrected the Rhino Chasers brand. So
very nice.
They did. Awesome. That's great.
But also, John, you can also go into something like if there's any beers out there called like Nose Job, because that's rhinoplasty. You can go that route if you want. People get rhino.
Or if you live one district over from Marjorie Taylor Greene, like I do, then the rhino had a different connotation. But
let's not go there.
I can't stand her. But yeah,
no one. Oh God, you've got to be seriously so far right to be.
I have to hold my breath every time I drive it.
Right. Yeah. Well, as we say, no politics on the show. However, I know people that are right that can't stand her.
Yes,
so.
that makes them right.
She loves Donald Trump.
That makes them correct.
He can't stand her.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's correct. There you go. Right.
But my number 1, and I just have to. It's because it's again along the lines of Abyss, along the lines of the Smoked Porter. This is one of those classics. Mm-hmm. Perennial ales, Abraxas.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
And I got the 2022 version of it. And if Brian Boak did hang with us, I cracked this at his last tailgate for a Giants game. Abraxas is such a special beer. Perennial does such great work. Anytime you can get your hands on a Perennial, just do it. I don't know.
Ask them if it's okay first.
There's one beer source for me that blows.
Because no means no.
Right.
And it's Taco Mac, and I had that beer at Taco Mac on draft, and it was so.
I
got to come down there because Taco Mac sounds like it's a fantastic.
Oh my God!
Tacos and fantastic craft beer.
The odd thing is they have no tacos, but they have
tacos.
No, they used to, but they have the best wings. It was started by a couple of guys coming down here from Buffalo. It was legendary when I lived in Rhode Island, and never, ever did I think I would live 2 miles from one. But yeah, they're just it's the best wings. 1 million flat screen TVs with sports and 100 taps at almost every location.
They need to reintroduce tacos.
Yeah.
And with a name like Taco Matt, I expect to go to a wall, put a few coins in, open the door, and pull out tacos.
It's not a taco mat like an automat. It's a taco Mac.
Mac.
Oh, Mac.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put money in, I put my card in, get cash out to pay for my tacos.
Yeah, think of a Toyota Tacoma, but take the space out. There you go.
Taco ATM. There we go. Well,
every time I'm
ATM
stuck in traffic and I'm behind a Toyota Tacoma, I take the space out and see Taco Mac and go have a beer.
There you go. Wow, as many of those are on the road, I wonder that your liver still exists.
And my liver is not in very good shape. Yes, okay.
Gotta love it.
Actually, my liver is very, very good.
There you go. There you go.
Mine's on the mend.
It is. It's working its way back.
Yeah.
It's working
its way back to you.
It's working its back to you, babe.
I knew that was coming. We have to
those of you that are under 50, I'm sorry.
You have no idea what the hell we're talking about. With a burning love inside.
There you go.
You guys just need to change the name of this to 3 Old Guys Drinking Beer.
3 Old Guys Drinking Beer.
But we know the third guy isn't always an old guy.
But
that's true.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time it is 3 old guys.
A majority of the time.
A majority
3
of
old
the
guys
time.
drinking beer.
Oh, hell, all the time. Come on.
There you go. Well, then I got to put that too, because we've got a lot of like these sounders that I'm, these show notes. I got to be honest with you. In probably the last year, this is the most 3 old guys. Nice. There you go.
We've had some fun on this one. Damn.
There you go.
So, John, we're on to your top threes.
My top threes. There you
got a couple honorable mentions. You said you.
I had one. I now have 2. All right. So
as much as you love that, I'm sure I'm surprised it didn't crack your top 3 and drop something into.
No. This was fantastic. It didn't crack the top 3, but it's definitely clearly in the top 5, right? Okay. So it definitely it dropped somebody out of the top 5 by me adding it to my.
For those who are not watching, explain what you're holding up.
I'm holding up a can of Specks of Sand from Tavour Brewing. All right, it's an amber lager. It's a Roggen beer, brewed with Heritage Seashore Black Rye. It was a fantastic beer, and I'm sorry I ordered 1 can of this from Tavour. I should have ordered 4 of them. And the next time this comes on Tavour, I will order 4 of them. It was fantastic.
Fail.
Absolutely. Well, but I do that, right? I haven't had a beer yet. I order 1.
Yeah.
Unless it's something stupid and the price is right, I'm ordering 2. I've never ordered more than 2 of anything. This goes into the category of I will order 4 the next time I see it on Tavour.
Again, there's only one time I've ever ordered 4 of anything. Mm-hmm. And they're past their price.
Now, does Tavour give you a better price if you?
Yes. No, it depends.
Depends.
Most of the 16-ounce cans.
I wish I was wearing Depends right now because I can see.
All right, that's another one. Hold on. No. Whatchamacallit? Most of the time with 16-ounce cans that will give you. So, like, say this was $6.99.
Yep.
So 2 would be $13.98. It's $13. So you're getting 98 cents.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say halftime gives you graduated prices, so you'll get. Actually, they'll give you a better price at the 4 or 6 pack level, depending on.
Well, that's what it is. You're getting a discount of 2, 4, and 6. That's what you get.
And I think at the case level too, you get an even better price. If Gary's Pale Ale ever shows up, I'm buying a case.
Well, they do. Tavour actually does have a limit on some beers. They'll say limit 6 per person or limit 8 per person or so forth and so on. So, because they want to spread it around. They don't want, like, if they only got 2 cases of something, it's a limit of 2 per person or 1 per person. Yeah. They got 4 cases, that that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
They want more. They don't want somebody to come along and buy all of it and then nobody gets it except for the one guy.
Oh, that's like
or one per or girl or girl.
That's like Ticketmaster.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, that's my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention is from Elder Pine Brewing. That's the Dunkel I just had. Elder Pine. John, have you had any Elder Pine? They're from Maryland. No,
never had them. Nope.
They're from they're from Gaithersburg, Maryland. It's about maybe 15-20 minutes out of Washington. 25 minutes out of Washington.
Yeah, they're just north. They're between Washington and Baltimore.
They're between Washington and Baltimore. A little west, but between Washington and Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, but I'll keep an eye out next time
fantastic. They're brewing amazing beer at Elder Pine.
Halftime has
what's interesting is one of my honorable mentions I didn't mention was Midnight Sun by Elder Pine.
Yeah, Elder Pine is making amazing beer.
Which was a sour. It was a cherry sour because of the cherry in it. Mm-hmm. The way it worked into the beer, it came off as an Uda Bruin.
Nice.
It was absolutely delicious. So yeah,
Cherry made it a sour brown ale, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I could see that, but wow.
Well, you got to remember, John, when I was home brewing, one of my home brews that I thought failed was a cherry brown.
Right.
And I did this cherry brown, and I didn't like it, but I didn't pour it. I sat it, and I sat it for, oh God, it was like 8 years before I remembered it was there. And I cracked it, and it had infected, and I wasn't sure if it infected good or bad. And I took one sip of it and like, this infected good. And this cherry brown basically turned into an Udabruin.
There you go.
In flavor. And I brought it to that beer, the bottle share. At
Poor Henry's. Poor Henry's. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember it. Holy shit. You're right. I do remember it.
I brought it to the bottle share there. A couple people opted out when they realized it was 8 years old. They're like, I don't want to go blind.
Right.
One of the guys there, Brian, was like, not the Brians that we've ever mentioned on this program.
No, neither.
So many stories about Brian. We're not going to even get into that.
Not Boke. Another one.
No.
He might have one that might have, not one that might have been on the show either in the last 2 weeks.
No. But he says, God help me, but do you have more of this? Like I've got a whole
8-year-old beer is not going to make you go blind, by the way.
No. But there was a few guys who were scared of it, and
fair enough.
But yeah, so this particular beer, it was a cherry sour, but it really threw off. And this Elder Pine Midnight Sun, it came off as an Udabruin in flavor, and I loved this beer. It was one of my honorable mentions that I failed to mention.
There you go. Fair enough. You just mentioned it.
So now you're into your 3, 2, 1 here.
So but the Tavour Pivot from Elder Pine was fantastic. So if you seriously, John or anybody out there, I'm a big proponent of Elder Pine. Fantastic brewery in Maryland.
Yeah, very good.
My 3, 2, 1. My number 3 comes from Chicago. That would be Revolution.
I was going to say it's got to be Revolution.
Revolution, and that would be a beer called Progress. But
it's a Prague.
Prague.
Oh, don't talk to me about Prague. I'm not over it.
I know.
I don't know if Guru knows the story about my.
We'll tell him. We'll tell him
afterwards.
We'll tell him after. Everybody knows on the show.
Yeah,
there you go.
We'll tell you at the end.
So it's a Czech dark lager. It's a Tavour Pivot, and I actually have another second can of it. That I'm going.
Oh, you're smart enough to order 2 of them.
I ordered 2.
Congratulations, John.
So these I ordered 2, and here's the can, and there's Progress. There you go. Czech style dark lager. Tavour Pivot right there from Revolution.
I've never had that one, but another beer that I got from Halftime was their Death Star. I drank it on my birthday, and
that is a beer.
I have to say it blew my world away.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably don't remember much after that particular one.
No, Death Star blew my world away. Come on, guys.
I know you.
Help me here.
This is an Alderon.
I figured where you were going with that. All right.
It was really good, though.
Hold on. Based on what I said the other day, that's what she said.
Yeah.
There was John. I'll send it to you. Actually, I'll send it to you in when we're done with the show.
Oh yes, that one is good. It's just all the attack on the Death Star.
The attack on the Death Star. When Luke and Wedge and everybody were in the X-wings and they're in the trench. They're
Hawkins.
Hawkins. Everybody. They're everything they say is that's what she said. Everything they say is that's what she said.
And it's Steve Carell doing that's what she said from
The Office. Yeah, exactly. I'll send it.
But it's all the different times he said it. It's not just the one time he said it.
It's all
different versions of
every single one of them is a different time of him saying it. Yeah,
it's wonderfully done.
Yeah, but
and you'll never watch that scene
again the same way, ever the same way.
That's amazing.
So Progress from Revolution. Tavour Pivot is my number 3.
We're still your number 3.
My number 2. I'll make them quick. My number.
Don't bother.
My number 2 is I mentioned Phase 3 before. I mentioned the Rye Lager. That's my number 3. My number 2, the Rye Lager from Phase 3, fantastic beer. And my number 1, and Dave, you ordered one as well, from Kuhnen Brewing in Michigan. 4th Dimension Old Ale.
That was one of my other honorable mentions, actually.
It's my number 1. So
Is it?
You know me and
old ales, barley wines, and stick of alts all make you a little.
That's number one for me.
Make you a little damp. Yeah,
exactly. A little damp.
Sitting in a puddle.
So sitting in a big puddle. So there you go. Those are my three.
That was a beautiful, beautiful beer, and it was. I think we may have hit all of my friggin' honorable mentions now.
I think we did.
But Fraudulent Activity by Street Side, which is a hazelnut stout. That was the only honorable mention that was not mentioned, but now it is.
There you go. Yeah, that works for me. All right. All right. So, in a nutshell, as far as I'm concerned,
it's a hazelnut nutshell.
It's hazel. Help! I'm in a nutshell. No, there we go. That was.
Are you going to do? You doing Marcel?
No, I was doing Michael Myers from the first Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, yes.
Austin Powers, yeah. This is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. There you go.
Throw me a fucking bone here.
Exactly.
I used the wrong accent there. Sorry.
No, I understand. It was a good accent. Wrong one.
Until the last one.
It was like, I mean, he's British.
It was pretty good.
He's British. If that was if Austin Powers was actually filmed in Brooklyn, you had it right. So,
yeah.
Wow, we need to remake this movie.
I think we need to. Not a bad idea, actually.
They took my fucking thumb.
Groovy, baby. Groovy, baby.
Yeah, it's groovy, baby.
All right. Anyway, in a nutshell, or I digress, if you want to go there.
It's twice now you used it.
It's twice I used it. John only used it once.
How much do you have to pay Mova Hill for that?
I don't know. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to him next week on the End of Chaser podcast, and
we're up to like $1.75 now. I think.
Yeah, you're probably gonna regret.
We're gonna, we'll just rack it up until we get to $10, and we'll send him a bottle of bitters and call it a day.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
What's the GDP of Panama? Yeah. Okay.
I think it's $1.20.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's going to want at least twice that. Okay.
At least that.
Fine. He tries a hard bargain, that bastard.
He does. He really does. So, in a nutshell, globally, how do we all feel about online beer ordering?
I mean, it's fantastic. It gives you access to stuff as wonderful as today's, selection is, and you can get all these great beers. Come on, we're beer geeks. We want more. We always want. We want what we can't get, and it gives us what we can't get. So, I mean, that's one of the bad things about the industry, right? We're not very loyal to the local stuff. But on the plus side, but on the plus side, I mean, for somebody like me, it gives me access to old home, right? I can get stuff that I grew up with, and breweries that I love, and breweries from where I grew up and can't get down here. So that has a lot of value too. So
absolutely.
That's my thoughts.
I've got a couple of thoughts on it. One, 3 old guys drinking beer. What that means is you've got 3 guys who've been drinking craft beer for decades. We're always looking for something new. We're looking for new breweries. We're looking for new flavor combinations. So the services help us with that. John and I live in a state where we get a really good distro into the state, so we can find some great stuff. But we can't find everything. So they have the service. It's a double-edged sword. Because the services also know this.
Right.
So there's a cost. There's an upmark.
Sure.
Right. The shipping fees, all of this. If you want it, and let's face it, it's a want. You look, I want this. I want this. We will say need. Do we need it? Yeah, maybe. But it's. Oh
no! Sometimes it comes to a need.
Sometimes it comes to a need, and you look at this, and they've got you. They've got you. Tavour more than anything, because of what they throw up there, the things that they have. Tavour is very, very good at riding the trends, knowing this is. They pay very close attention to ratings. It's rare to find anything on Tavour that's rated under a 4 on Untapped. So you can see what they do, and they'll charge you for it. So it's that double-edged sword. So it depends on how much of that want there is, but it's replaced the beer trading of the past.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, it's more honest, right? Because all three of us have come across with beer traders that have not been entirely honest with you, right? This, they have no choice other than be honest. It's, otherwise, their reviews suffer from it.
Sure.
So it's a more honest way of doing beer trading, except rather than trading beer for beer, you're trading beer for cash.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no ISO FT involved in it. In search of what I want, FT cash, right? So they've served this role.
Well, that's the other thing too. You'll see ISO / and a $.
Yeah, but it's just they've filled this niche,
and that's not on the online beer ordering either. That's on the FT thing.
Yeah, some people want cash for it, which is quite illegal.
100%. And I've never done that.
No, I have never dipped into the gray market. Never. No, I've never done it. I'm sticking to that story.
But I said it here tonight. I've never done that.
Your toes are crossed, aren't they?
I can't see. I'm not sure.
I can't see over my beer belly.
I can't see through my desk. My feet are way under it.
I haven't seen my toe.
Whole thing.
I haven't seen my willy in ages.
Well, you clearly need to have a Dick's Cream Stout, but I don't.
Yeah. There you go.
I couldn't see that either. I don't know if it's where it's coming from.
Where you can't see where it's coming from? Is that
all I know is I've got to clean it up. But
as Freud said, sometimes
there you go.
That's where he looks stained. John, what have you been doing over there?
No, I just literally wiped up when I sat down before. I grabbed the paper towel and I wiped it up.
Yeah, he also had a Dick's Cream Stout.
Apparently, he may have made his own. But no, these beer ordering services, seriously, they have their place. They're a beautiful thing. If they weren't a beautiful thing, I wouldn't have bottles in my crate right now. I wouldn't agree to pay for the shipping charges that are charged by them. And I understand these shipping charges. They're fair because shipping alcohol is expensive. Mm-hmm. So Tavour could seriously charge more than they do.
If I'm going to get 20 cans that I paid between $5 and $7 for each, and it's only going to cost me $14 to ship it to my house.
Yeah,
done.
And that's what I love about Tavour is their shipping charges are less than most of these other services. But they've got their place. They're a wonderful thing. Be careful with them. Mm-hmm. Again, like I said, Tavour, after mid-November, don't order again until after.
And that's not a problem with the beer. That's a problem with
I'm not just saying. I'm just saying it's not a problem with the service, but just don't do it there. And also, when you're going there, don't go too crazy. Look local first and see if you can actually get these beers where you shop before you order.
Double check if you're not entirely familiar with what you can get in your state. Double check that before you order from Tavour. And I'm not saying to not give Tavour business by any means. No. I'm just saying if you can get, here's the thing. If you can get a 4-pack of something for $15, but Tavour is going to charge you $7 for one can, and you can drive to a store 5 miles from your house and get the 4-pack for $15, get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So these services are really great for those who are educated, know what they're doing, been to their stores, shop their local stores, and really know what they carry, what they can get in.
Right.
These services are really, really fantastic for that. I would really love to see beer trading come back in vogue. Mm-hmm. The problem is beer trading got so dishonest and too over the top. And that's why the Biff revolution.
A lot of people that were doing beer trading of late, or more recent, I should say, it was a way to clean out their cellar. It was things that they had sitting there that they may not have even wanted to try because they were sitting there so long. And sometimes you find a hidden gem, mind you. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it's like owning a cable beverage.
Right.
Right. But the thing is, you've already traded something. And if you're trading in good faith, nowadays, you're probably going to get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So beer, I would love to see beer trading.
It's more likely that you are. It's not 100%.
No.
I would say 70-30 at most.
Yeah.
Probably 60-40.
But it's I would love to see beer trading get back to what it was, because that was pure beer geek to beer geek.
Gear beak. I'm going to use that.
Gear beak.
I'm literally going to use that. Gear beak.
Beer geek to beer geek. And it was the spirit of it back in the day was, I want this person to try the beer that I can get here.
Right.
That got lost.
Mm-hmm.
It really got lost. And so now these beer services that we get, we can now try beers from regions where we typically can't get beer from.
100%. I will echo that and say that it's 100% true. I think that Tavour and Halftime and Beer Drop, for that matter, any of these
and maybe Untapped, we don't know yet.
Untapped, I have no experience with it, but
because it's illegal to send them to they don't not illegal, they just
not illegal, they just don't ship to New Jersey.
Right. Yeah.
Whatchamacallit, but in any event, it's a good thing. Do your homework though. Do your homework and make sure that you can't more easily access the beer locally or semi-locally than ordering it. But Tavour, Halftime, all these services offer beer from a lot of different places that you can't get the beer.
Someone's baking cookies.
I can smell it from here, actually.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so just do your homework. But when you order it, have at it, enjoy it, and it opens up a whole new world to beer that you can't readily accessibly get.
And breweries, like we talked about Wayfinder, we've talked about Heater Allen, we've talked about
Wayfinder, Heater Allen,
Sapwood,
Fontaflora, Elder Pine.
These are breweries that in Jersey,
Corporate Ladder,
we don't get them.
Yeah.
But
again, from my point of view, it's not just about what you can't get. That you've never
it's what you used to be able to get.
What you used to be able to get, and you really want. For me, a 6-pack of Long Trail from Halftime is golden.
Well, this is the whole reason we wanted to
show. I actually stopped today at a store earlier, and I picked up one bottle because they sell singles. And both of you are going to know what style of beer this is. I had to pick up one bottle of this. I just literally brought them in. I put them here because I might have grabbed them for the show. I'll chill them, and I'm going to have them later this week. Maybe I'll have it on the show next week. I don't know. But I picked up one bottle. You mentioned Long Trail. I picked up that.
I knew you were going to pull up a double bag. I knew it. I'm like, he's got a bottle of double bag.
Oh, God.
He's got a bottle, because there's no other beer from Long Trail that John's going to really seriously nab other than double bag.
And that's going to be a beer that you're going to think the same thing, that damn, I should have got a 6-pack of it.
I should have got a 6-pack of it.
But the whole reason we wanted to do this show with you, Beer Guru, was watching you drink beers from up here. And we know you live in Georgia. Like, how are you getting these beers? And I remember us asking you that, and you're like, oh, I ordered from Halftime. Yeah. And then every time that we watched, anytime you checked in a beer from New England, New Jersey, New York area, Pennsylvania, like, he's getting it from Halftime. So, and seeing all the beers that you check in from, the Northeast,
sure,
and knowing it was coming from Halftime, like, this is why we needed this show with Staradumsky.
Absolutely. No, there was no way we were doing this show without you.
Yeah,
so this was happening with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I told my wife that I had heard that I was going to do this show, and that I had been called the king of online beer ordering. And
yes.
Without missing a beat, she said, "You are the king of all beer drinking." So.
She's got you pegged there, John.
100%, 100%, sir, 100%. And on that note, I do have to ask you before we digress into the outro. I do have to ask you, what are your thoughts on the Patriots draft this year?
Oh, I love it. We
love it?
did the right thing at quarterback. What else were you going to do at number 3, right?
Mhm.
JJ McCarthy? No, that would be wrong.
No.
So Drake May was the right choice. There were better wide receivers I think we could have got, and I think we could have done better on the offensive line. But no, I think we did good. Are we going to make the playoffs next year? I doubt it, but I think we'll do better than we
Drake
did.
May a little bit, and yeah. What do you think of mine and Dave's draft?
The Giants
first round draft pick. Giants first round draft pick.
You guys did right for what was left. I think at the time too. You did the same thing.
Getting Neighbors. I've never.
Neighbors. I said this last week on the sports podcast. I think Malik Neighbors not only was the way to go, obviously. I personally think he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. And that takes nothing away from Marvin Harrison Jr.
No.
He's a great he's a great wide receiver, but he's not his father yet. Okay, so let's not laud him because of his name, right? But I think Malik Neighbors actually had a better college career than
However, I think that Potensky had it right with that one meme where Neighbors withdrew from the Rookie of the Year bet.
Right.
And that was because of one practice with Danny Dimebags.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's like, okay, this guy's not going to get me the ball properly.
No. I mean, fair enough.
I'm joking because I think the Giants had a very, very.
I think they had an awesome draft. I think they had a great.
But the thing is, they addressed what they needed to address.
They need to address what they need to address, and I'm going to tell you right now. And John, agree with me or not? Let me know. I personally feel that as quarterback heavy as this draft was, and we're talking Caleb Williams, we're talking Jaden Daniels, we're talking Drake May, we're talking Bo Nix, we're talking Michael Penix Jr., and we're talking JJ McCarthy. Those six quarterbacks in the first 12 picks. That's never happened before.
The closest we ever came to it was one of the biggest busts we've ever seen in history.
100%.
Yep.
Now,
with Brian Ryan and
Now my point here was I personally saw it as a 3-quarterback draft. Nothing against JJ McCarthy, but I personally think JJ McCarthy is Danny Dimes.
Yeah, my son sent me a video of him throwing a pass to in practice to one of the coaches and missing him like really wide right.
I think Danny Dimes is better than
that's one.
But,
wait a second. Was it behind him? Because every pass
we don't know.
is behind his receiver.
Well, but he's good. But yeah, no, I'm saying I think the 3 quarterbacks were the top 3. Were Caleb Williams, were Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. And personally, my pick for 1, 2, 3 would have been Jaden Daniels, Drake May, then Caleb Williams. That's me.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate about that. I think there's
a lot.
Any of these 3 could prove to be the best of the draft,
sure.
And we won't know
any one of them could be a crying Ryan.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
It's the same thing.
But the whole,
but we knew who was going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they came walking out as they started the draft television show, their production, and it was the order that they were drafted in, right? So we pretty much knew how that was going to go. But I know that the Vikings were up on trading to us for that number 3 spot. But
the Pats got 2 trade offers: the Vikings and the Giants,
and they told them where to go. So they were like, "No, we're not going." And I think they made the right decision. So,
and I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you this right now, and you can tell me I'm wrong or you tell me I'm right. If Belichick didn't leave, he would have absolutely traded for with one of them.
Oh yeah.
Either the Vikings or the Giants.
I think
for draft capital.
In this draft, I think he knew we needed a quarterback. I think this is the one time he would.
I don't think he would have gotten rid of Mac Jones. That's why I'm saying that.
I don't think they got along too well. I think Jones. Yeah. That was.
Well, no, he would have gotten rid of him because they picked up Jacoby.
Because he made a mistake. Because because Mac Jones is not. If you look at Jones, there's a lot of problems with the Pats, right? Our O-line sucked. We didn't have targets for him to throw to, but he still made terrible decisions too.
The Georgia boy just
he was
out his New England accent there.
He wasn't good. He wasn't good.
You said targets.
Targets.
Target.
I got one right around the corner from me too. If you just in case.
You got a target there.
I got a target right over here.
Yeah, I got a target. But you know, I mean,
that's the first time I've ever heard your New England accent come out.
Wow, that's. But yeah, Mac Jones is not a good guy. He's a good person. I'm not. But as a quarterback,
Trevor Lawrence is his daddy now, so they
who actually Trevor Lawrence went to. He played in high school in Cartersville, right around the corner, like 20 miles from me.
There it is again,
Cartersville.
Cartersville.
Wow, a whole friggin' smoked porter.
Feed me enough beers and the New England.
And you're good to go. And the New England accent comes right back out.
It's funny. Yeah. There's one. So I did learn a little bit of the New England accent. Actually, it's funny because the Massachusetts accent, the Boston accent, and the Rhode Island accent are different for those who have the ear, right?
Yes, they are.
And so every now and then, what I learned of the Rhode Island accent will come out. Right. Sometimes I'll say here. Right. That's Rhode Island. But it's funny because there's a lot of I miss about Rhode Island. But one of the things I miss the most is my access to Market Basket.
Oh, Market Basket.
And one time I said MAHKET. And one time I said it Market Basket. Went, no, that's not right. It's Market Basket. It's just
but if you
didn't know that an R is an H and you lived in New England, you're silly.
So. If you live in Massachusetts, you're also going to go to Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
Which we had.
How do you say Shaw's though? How do you say Shaw's?
But the whole thing about Stop and Shop is you have to be rich because Stop and Shop's prices compared to Market Basket through the damn roof.
Well, when I grew up, we had Almax, so but
they're gone now.
They're gone, and A&P, which you guys had. So
we had A&P as well.
We had A&P, Grand Union, and ShopRite.
You know what A&P stood for? Atlantic and Pacific.
Atlantic and Pacific. Yeah.
Atlantic Pacific.
Tea Company. The great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. Yeah.
Yep.
Tea Company. Yes.
Yeah.
APT. A&P's gone. Grand Union's gone.
ShopRite's still going strong, but
Foodtown's gone.
There's 2 Foodtowns left. Owned by the same guy. One in 2 towns that I lived in. One in North Arlington, one in Caldwell.
We had Rojacks. We had
Rojacks. Yeah,
that was local in New England, and we had a company that A&P started. I think it was A&P. It was called Edwards. So
and now Rhode Island has got the chain called Dave's.
Yeah, Dave's was local too. My brother lives right around.
That's all Rhode Island.
The original Dave's Marketplace. Yep.
It's creeping down a little bit more. I don't know if it's in Massachusetts yet, but there's definitely I've seen them coming south though. Is the Hennefords?
Yes.
Yep. That was in Maine, right? They came from
Maine. It started in Maine. Yeah.
I think they've made their way into New York because I think I've seen them in the Adirondacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up higher New York because they're in New Hampshire, they're in Vermont, they're over in they've come across and they've started coming south.
They're starting to slip. Yeah,
we got none of that down here. We have Kroger, which I hate with a passion.
Kroger.
We have Publix, which I love.
I love Publix. And the thing I hate, as my sons just told me, they've stopped making the salsa that I love, the mango peach salsa.
No, I don't know.
Why would you stop making it? But their key lime pie is so damn good.
Yeah, but they make coconut custard pies,
which is so damn good too.
And you cannot get nobody. You go to any other place in Georgia and ask for a coconut custard pie.
They know what you're talking about.
You're not gonna get it.
And they make them in half sizes too, which is beautiful.
Costco has, I forget the name of the brand, but Costco has a mango peach salsa as well.
Yeah, but I've had it. It's nothing like it.
It's good, but it's not at Publix.
The whole thing about the mango peach salsas, because you can get it. Newman's Own makes one, but they tend to be thick.
Yeah,
there's a thickness to them. Mm-hmm. The Publix got it right because they used underripe mango. They used underripe peach, so it is bright. It it's so refreshing. And the fact that Publix stopped making it wounded me.
And John, the fact that when I was in last May, when I was a year ago, right now, I was in Nashville. When we got there, we had an Airbnb. We were there for a week, and we went to a Publix and loaded up on a bunch of stuff. Right? They actually had Taylor pork roll from
Actually, we have in Florida here from North Carolina, and they carry Taylor pork roll, but Publix carries, because I think there's a lot of northern
transplants.
Transplants. They have all kinds of stuff. What it is. You can get KM Franks at my from Massachusetts at my local, which are actually natural casing.
I love natural casing.
They have chicken pot pies from Willow Tree Farm. They're frozen, but they have all kinds of. They have Drake's cakes. You can get devil dogs and
I love Drake's.
You can get coffee cakes. If Newman's watching, you go to Publix. I'm just saying.
Go to Publix.
Publix is one of the best grocery store chains in the country.
Yeah, we were in there. We went there. We figured, it's half an hour. We get out of here. We were there like 2 hours.
Yeah, their deli.
And we got way too much stuff. We actually came home with stuff that we bought.
Subs.
They're one of the few places that make an Italian sub the way you would get it in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
That's a really
and their customer service. This is one of the reasons I hate Kroger, is because their customer service is non-existent. They don't give a shit about you, and they will make it clear to you that they don't care about you. Publix will bend over backwards to make you happy.
But you know why? Every Publix employee is an owner.
Yeah, my son used to work for them, and that's right. They have stock sharing. Yes, absolutely.
Every single one of them is an owner, so they care about what they're doing, and it shows.
That's one of the reasons I like them so much, is they treat their employees like gold. It's not just about the customers; it's about the employees too.
And they treat their customers like gold.
Yep.
And they have coconut custard pie.
and they have Taylor pork roll and coconut custard pie.
And they do key lime. Unless you actually go to the Keys, it's going to be hard to get a better key lime pie.
I did have a slice of key lime pie for dessert on Mother's Day at Bars in Atlantic Highlands, and it was fantastic.
Bars does shit.
And they have Gaspar's Linguiça and Chorico, which I used to.
Oh, Gaspar's! Oh my God! Gaspar's. You know, Emeril Lagasse grew up on Gaspar's.
Yes.
He grew up on that shit.
Yep.
And Gaspar's, one of the greatest injuries I've ever done to myself is because of Gaspar's. I was out on the Cape, bought some linguiça, and I admit it was a cold, windy day, and I'm out on the beach, and I made a fire. But what I did is I dug out a pit in the sand to make the fire to keep the wind from. And I built a good fire to the point where all the surfers, because people in New England will surf when it's freezing out. And I'm watching the surfers come off, and they're looking at the fire. I'm like, come warm yourself. But I had some Gaspar's Linguiça, and I've got it on a spit, and I'm cooking it over the edge of the fire. I accidentally dropped the spit. I went to pick it up. Now the pit it's concave. You've got basically a satellite dish. A satellite dish is really good at concentrating radiation. Mm-hmm. I've got a fire in the middle of the satellite dish, per se. So every inch of the satellite dish is soaked in this radiation. This radiation is thermal radiation. So I went to pick the spit up out of the sand, not really realizing the sand is boiling hot at this point.
Sure.
I gave myself 3rd-degree burns. Thank you, Gaspar's, for being so goddamn delicious.
His right ear, ladies and gentlemen, he's covered by the headphone right now. It's gone. Right? You can't tell.
No. And it's funny because I did what I can to heal it, and everyone kept telling me, "You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor." I'm like, okay. First of all, one, I was a fireman. I know how to treat burns. Second of all, I've burnt myself so many goddamn times. I know how to treat burns. I finally go to the doctor.
Frank burns?
Yeah, Frank Burns, lipless one.
A lipless wonder.
I know how to treat him. Just make him shut up. But I finally go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Wow, that's a pretty bad 3rd-degree burn." He goes, "But you're treating it well, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Keep doing it." So everyone who told me I need to go to the doctor, I'm like, "You owe me my copay."
Exactly.
Kidding me? I've got no scars from those burns.
That works.
But man, for 3 weeks I was in agony.
Oh, I can imagine. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I've burnt the shit out of my ears in fire school.
Was it just the instructor? Was it just the instructor chewing them off because you weren't listening?
No, not at all. I always listen. But no, it was because I had to be hero and say, I'm not wearing my Nomex hood. My ears are my thermometers.
No, you idiot.
And then I went in and they basically almost flashed over a room on us. And I had blisters on my ears for like 3 weeks. So
yeah. Lesson learned.
By the way, I always wore Nomex hood after that.
I was gonna say the PPE is there for a reason, John. Right.
Anyway,
my favorite.
I was on the cusp. I was on the cusp of firefighting from the old school. Oh, yours are my thermometers to the new school. Wear your Nomex hood, you asshole.
My stupidest fire training incident. We were doing a search and rescue where they had blurred out our masks, but because
mask confidence.
Yeah. So, but because we couldn't afford to use the tanks, we had to put our hoses into our jackets.
Sure.
Mine had fallen out, and I'm searching a bathroom. Guess where my hose fell into? So I sucked up a shit ton of toilet water.
No, I'll tell you. Now that this proves to how long ago you're talking, okay? Because those low pressure hoses that came out of the masks went by the wayside in 1988.
Yeah, it would not have sucked the water out.
Right.
And so, of course, I get all this toilet water in my face. I rip my mask off, and one of the officers is like, "You're dead." The other officer's like, "That wouldn't have happened if we'd had tanks." Anyway.
I was going to say your hose went into a Dick's Cream Stout, but what do I know?
Dick's Cream Stout. That was that. Yeah. Exactly. They were like, "Oh, it's a Dick's Cream Stout." Hang on, I'm gonna sit right here for a minute. There you
go. Well, you know what? In that particular drill, we did come in through the back door.
All right. On that note, folks, I want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you
who did.
No, I'm sure you did.
I had to use a K tool to get in.
Yeah.
There's a K and this.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Anyway. Before I read the outro, anything else on online beer ordering? I think we've covered most of it.
Online beer ordering, it's either for you or not for you. It depends upon what you're willing to spend. It also depends upon where you are in your beer journey at this point. Let's face this, us three old guys drinking beer, we're at this beer journey where we're just looking for something we've not fucking had before.
Right.
Because we've drank so much through the years. There's so many flavors we've drank. We want something new. We want breweries that we've never had before. But there's even like stuff we've had before. We want to see how this brewery we don't know yet renders that particular style. So there's so many ways for those who have been in it for a long time. This appeals to us. But it's up to you. Where are you on your beer journey? What's your bank account like? That's another thing in there. If you are young in your beer journey, I would say avoid these for now. Research. Go into your local.
The Tommy who was writing in from Twitch before. If you're still on, Tommy, look at. I don't know where you are. You can comment us back, and we can give you some suggestions if you want. Yep. Seriously, no matter where you are, no matter where you're located, we'll give you some suggestions. And if you write us up, if you don't comment back right now, and if you write
just hit us on the website.
Hit us on the website. We'll give you some suggestions. But absolutely, I mean, not that you shouldn't by any means check out an online beer ordering, but there's always and we preach local. We always preach local. There's going to be, no matter where you are, there's somebody local that's doing something that you can get that's going to gateway you into what you're wanting to do. And we'll give you those suggestions. We will. Anybody,
but that's
and we'll let you know.
Exactly.
And I would say, as a transplant, for somebody, my opinion is that whether you're looking for a taste of home or you're looking for something that's new, I think it's better than ever. I think for $20 shipping to get 24 singles, divide that across 24, it's less than $1 a bottle for shipping. And it's often not much more than you're going to pay at your local Total Wine or whatever per single. So, and you can get stuff that you grew up on, that you loved, or your old favorites that you can't get where you are now. But even if it's not for that purpose, I think the options are better than ever. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely valid. Absolutely friggin' valid. There's so many reasons to go to seek out these services. Mm-hmm. But if you're new into craft beer, don't go there.
Yeah.
Explore your locals.
Explore your local first, and then
exhaust your locals first. That is sage advice. I agree.
Yeah. Absolutely explore your locals first.
100%. All right, John, stick around. We want to talk to you for a couple minutes before we let you go. But hang on after we sign off. On that note, though, we want to wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening,
longest show yet.
This is the longest show.
Yeah,
this right here. By 8 minutes right now.
Yep.
It's probably going to be 9 by the time we finish. But anyway, we're going to wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everyone for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast,
fast John talks.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website.
He's going to stretch this out for 15 minutes over.
www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, which used to be Twitter, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you'll find the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. John, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for this. And 100%. Drinking your last Alaskan
smoked porter with us.
You guys are worth it.
I am honored.
Few people are worth it.
We are honored.
Thank you so much.
Honored that you drank the last one with
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. 100%. And if Dave and I hook up with a case of them, if we're fortunate to hook up with a case of them, some are coming your way.
Yeah, some are coming your way. And I will get you some Fox Farm.
We'll work on that too.
Thanks.
As well as a few other things we'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, drink a lot of beer, folks, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks.
Yeah.
Take care. Cheers.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we will.
We will.